live. We're going live. We're probably live, but I can't see yet, so I'm just going to wait enough until we're actually live. That should have been enough time by now. I'm going to assume that we're live. So we're now live. Hi, everyone.
There may be people. Who knows?
Yes. There'll be a reaction momentarily. Yes. Oh, no. That could be anything. It is alive. There we go. All right. It is the 5th of April, 2025. I nearly said 24 then.
It's the 4th of the 5th of the 22nd. Wait. Hold on. Who am I? No, it's definitely May.
Small,
wait, no, June. Hold on.
And also haircut. Yes. A gnome took it in the night.
Just took it.
Yeah.
Didn't catch it. Just stuffed in a little bag.
Yeah, didn't even notice. Just woke up like this. I was like, oh, okay. So yeah.
It's unfortunate they didn't do facial hair.
Wow, savage.
I thought you teed it up reasonably nicely.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
They also took your legs.
Yeah. Leg hurty, and I was like, I fancy the low chair today, so I just decided to stick with this. I think also just because I can slouch on this chair, I can't slouch on the stool, and I think it's a slouch for now, or I'm having the option of slouching. So yeah, that's just striking a pose.
Yeah. This.
So yes. Hello everyone. All right. You see a stack of ThinkPads. It's going to be a good show. No, because they're bad, like every ThinkPad. Oh!
I mean, this one has an optical drive.
Yeah. Okay, right. We should probably actually explain. Right, so today we're looking at second-hand stuff. I've got a bunch of refurb gear kicking around. A bunch of it, well, this stuff, the mini PCs, this PC, another 2 PCs that I've already started looking at, and these laptops. This is all coming from a medium-sized company, from a small or large business. Well, they were big enough to have this many computers, you know. I'm guessing the business is packed up or otherwise wound down, because the guy came in and was just like, getting rid of all of these, don't want to throw them in a skip. They're yours if you want them. Now, you've got to be a bit careful. As a shop owner, you've got to be a little bit careful when this happens, because if you just say yes to everything, you're very quickly going to find yourself with a room full of e-waste that will cost you money to dispose of. So when someone gives you a bunch of free computers, that's not always the gift that they think it is. So I said, I'll take a look. Because there's a bunch of stuff here which I think is reusable, but also I'm looking at some of these laptops going like, no, that's a hard note from me. But I need to check them all. But
they're ThinkPads. People will spend hundreds of pounds buying them.
I don't think they're all. Well, this one ain't a ThinkPad. This one's a B5070, and it's got a Windows 8 sticker on the back. So. That's my point.
It's a ThonkPad.
Yeah, this is just an automatic no, throw it over a hedge, you know. So, like, I don't even care what CPU is in it. It's going to be DDR3. So, yeah. A room full of e-waste is what I call a shop, says Katrina. Yeah, but yours is interesting e-waste. Yeah, like, your e-waste has a story. This doesn't have a story other than just, it was... I mean, what CPU does it even have? It's got an i3 in it, so I guess it's got that going for it. It wasn't a Pentium. But this thing's got a hard drive in it. So it's just like, no.
It might still have a hard drive. It might have a metal box with some glass shards in it now.
True, yeah. Or it might have an SSD in it. It might have been upgraded, at which point I'll be like, cool, I'll pinch that SSD. Because like what I say no to here is going to go up the local... waste facility. What do you call it again? We call it the tip, but
yes,
yeah, but like
the name on the sign is household waste facility.
Yeah, waste facility. Yeah, recycling centre, I guess, because
they're opening a new one in the town just south of here.
They already have one in though, don't they?
Yeah, but they're opening a new one.
Oh, interesting.
Clearly that town is
do
too filled with rubbish.
Yeah. Say it isn't so. People who know, are like, my shop is in Shaftesbury, you know, a town south of here. You can divinate from that as you will, you know. Install Triage on it and call it a console. Yeah, but you could buy £100 last. Well, okay, yeah. I have no interest in doing. I've got better things that I can do that on. Well, that's probably what. Like, unironically, these little mini PCs. These are, I need to double check, but based on a quick Google search I did, I think these have got 7th gen i5s in. So these are actually, they're not technically eligible for Windows 11, but like you could totally install 11 on this and sell it. You know, I would be more than comfortable doing a Rufus 11 install on this and selling it as a second-hand PC. This would make a great little like retro console. Yeah, that's something that I might do for myself. So yeah, you can change the CPU on those 8th gen upgrade. On the mini PCs, are you sure? Even then though, that would require me to buy some 8th gen Intels.
Lenovo ThinkCentre, tiny micro desktop PC for bussing.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting if they're upgradable. We'll find out in a minute when we open one up. But like, I'm not going out and buying a bunch of 8th gen Intel CPUs unless I can buy them for like £5. Then okay,
tech specs. We have no tech specs.
Yeah, because like it would be nice if like. Well, let's check that, because if we can put some 8th gen i5s in them for an extra £5, then they become actually Windows 11 compatible, which would be good. Because the problem is like right now you can Rufus 11 onto basically anything and it will work. But also Microsoft have flip-flopped on a lot, and that we still don't know if Microsoft are going to just suddenly watermark every Windows 11 computer that doesn't actually match the minimum spec. So like I could, you know, like I can sell this with 11 on it and go like, oh yeah, that's fine. But in 6 months, a watermark might appear on it, and that's going to suck, because everyone who bought one from me is going to pop in and say, hey, this message has appeared in the bottom of my screen. What do I do?
You buy a new computer because I told you this was a cheap old one when I sold it to you.
Sure, but do I want to be doing sales like that?
Well, I don't know.
Not really.
How else are you going to be selling hardware that's 5 generations old?
I mean, I could probably, you know, like I mean, because I got these for free, I could sell them for anything and make profit, I guess.
Yeah, but they're 5 generation old computers.
Yeah, like I'd probably be flogging these for, I don't know, £100 a pop or something like that.
Well, yeah. But you're selling someone a 5 generation old computer,
I guess,
so you have to preface it with the fact of this is a cheap old computer.
Yeah, so I could just...
That is currently minimum viable.
Yeah.
That may change imminently.
Yeah, flog them for £100 as a working mini computer that you can give to the kid to do the homework on, and just say, yeah, by the way, these things don't come with a warranty. You know, it'll be a gentleman's agreement. Like, if it falls over in a month, I'll help you out on that. But, you know, if it does something odd in 6 months, then sorry, you know, buyer beware. Caveat, what was it? Caveat emptor or something like that. But yeah.
But yes, this apparently comes with definitely 7th gen and an SSD.
Yeah, I think that's what I determined when I looked them up. But we'll pop one open and just actually have a nosy.
And also Type C that does display.
Yeah, some of them have got Type C on them, and some of them have got Type C, some of them have got VGA. One of them's got a serial port on it and has Wi-Fi. They all have DisplayPort and USB 3.
Oh.
So they've all got dual DisplayPort out on them.
I quite like this.
Yeah.
It's like, what were you doing?
Yeah.
Why did you need serial and Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so yeah, this one's got serial and Wi-Fi, but industrial machine control.
Yeah, but it's just kind of...
That's what these things, you know, just, industrial machine.
Yeah, but kind of what were you doing? What were you controlling?
Yeah, perhaps,
building, making?
Yeah, there might be a story behind that one as to what it was being used for. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, 7th gen with an SSD. Yeah, you know, entirely viable.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it's not a fair comparison, but obviously DIY computers would have had SSDs from long before then.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Expecting corpo PCs to have SSDs is.
Yeah. Dimis says low-powered Plex server. They support QuickSync. Yeah, like this is the thing. I want to get into Home Assistant and start learning about that at some point. So I was seriously thinking, like, I kind of want to root through these, pick out the nicest one to keep for myself, and like try and install Home Assistant on it, and like with the Plex plugin, and actually start building it up as a home server or something like that. Like, I don't know if it's going to have the horsepower to be for that long term, but it's a start. It means I can start familiarizing myself with this stuff, because I want to start doing that just so I can see what kind of, like, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I don't think I'm ready I don't think I'm ready to de-Google my life yet, but I want to start learning about how I would go about doing that. So yeah. All right.
This looks shockingly identical to the Dell I have.
It wouldn't surprise. I mean, it's a square box. There's only so many ways you can design a box with it, isn't there? I'm going to pass your water back to you. Yeah. I'm going to give that back to you, and then
I've copyrighted this box.
I own the rectangle. Can you switch us to bench cam? We'll probably need control for that as well. Can you do the things, the stuff and the things?
Oh, no, hold on.
A little bit.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
Hold on. I'll do that and then move it.
We need the stuff and the things so we can have a look in there. Do we have the power? Yes, we've got power supplies for them.
Do you have the secret?
Sorry?
Do you have the secret? Secret? Have the key.
Anyway. I don't know what prompted that. I'm
Nothing in particular.
I see. You just wanted to do the thing. Because I don't recall actually saying the key, but
No.
I think you might need to do it on the big version. There's a funny bug I've been noticing with these recently, where the controls just sometimes don't seem to work properly. Yeah, there you go. It's moving now. Yeah. Yeah. The mini controller seems to be a bit hit and miss. All right. We're on our way, folks. Yeah, if you just go to straight down and hang on a minute, I'll then you can texture align with the table. And I will move stuff onto shot. There we go. That's good enough.
Oh no, not stop streaming. That is the wrong button.
All right. People are saying Proxmox. I'm not going to run Proxmox for my. I want when I set one up for Home Assistant, I want to run the Home Assistant OS install. But also at some point, I need to look at Proxmox anyway, just out of interest, just so I can familiarise myself with modern virtual machines. I want to learn what the hell. I don't actually I don't fully know what the hell a Docker is and such like. So I want to can Proxmox run Docker containers, or is Docker like an actual system? Like, I don't actually know. That's another thing that I want to figure out. And like having a bunch of these mini PCs kicking around to play with is kind of the way that I would learn about that.
Yes.
So yeah.
Docker is a system for running effectively fragments of a system.
Yeah.
Or fragments of a kernel in a virtualized environment.
Yeah.
So that you can effectively run instances much smaller.
Yeah. But that's my point. You know, do you run what runs the Docker containers?
Docker.
So Docker is an operating system.
It is a program in the same way as hypervisor or.
Okay, so I need a system that can run Docker.
You will run an operating system of some kind. That operating system will manage the virtualization.
Yeah. So can Proxmox run Docker? Because if Proxmox can run virtual machines, so if you're going to run it, so like that's the thing. Because Proxmox runs virtual machines, if it can run Docker, then it's an obvious choice because then you can run VMs and Dockers, you know, kind of thing. I don't know. These are why I have questions.
Kinda. The answer is the answer is yes, in the sense of obviously because you can run a virtual machine, you can run anything in that virtual machine.
Oh, I guess so. You could run Docker inside a VM.
Yeah, but why would you?
Ah, good. Zoom. Finest Chinesium SSDs.
Yeah.
It has an M.2 slot there. Is that for Wi-Fi, or could you put an M.2 SSD in that, I wonder? I don't know. But now would be a good time to insert ads.
Smash that add button.
Yeah. Am I going to bother? I'm going to pop off the cooler off of this one and just have a look at the thermal paste, just so we can see whether the thermal paste needs doing on these. Yeah, Wi-Fi, that would be my guess as well. Yeah.
Yeah. This has a SanDisk one.
Oh, okay. So it's a mix. That's good. If they were all XUMs, I would be a bit sad because, like, no offense, XUM owners, but this is one of the most tat brands of SSD money can buy. So yeah, like I value this brand low enough that I'm not sure that I would sell the computer with this SSD in it. I would have serious concerns that it would bounce back in a couple of weeks, you know. So yeah.
Whilst unpopulated, there are the traces for PCIe 8x8.
Oh yeah, wacky. Yeah. So just here, there's a empty footprint for a PCI Express x8 slot.
So I presume they use the same board in the bigger version.
Yeah, maybe there's a bigger version, or maybe there is a variant of these where you can actually put in a tiny graphics card that sits flat onto the back. But then where would you put the storage? Don't know. Yeah. It's sometimes it's kind of fascinating looking at OEM machines and just seeing all of the various stuff and things on them, and just like, what was their plan for this, I wonder. Right, let's have a look at the thermal paste and just see if we actually need to do that or not.
Yeah. I think. Whoop.
Storage and RAM, turn it over, it's on the bottom. Oh, okay, yeah. That's a good point. There's no RAM here, so yeah, I'll take this out and then flip the whole thing.
On the Dell one I had, the RAM was under the heatsink. Oh my god, get back on there.
Is that ready to go? Nope, that one as well.
Oh, that's the wrong way around. That's why.
Oh my god. Okay, fine. I'll take out every screw I can see.
Ha! Squeaky noises.
What the hell are you? There's just... Oh, case intrusion. Oh, wacky. Okay, so there's a built-in speaker on this fan, but also that's the power button. Yeah, wild. Look at this. This is the case intrusion, and it's an LED. So basically, it's and there is that goes to there. What a wild way of doing, unless that's an IR sensor and that's an IR LED.
Probably.
But yeah, either way, they're doing some kind of light sensor for case intrusion. And I'm like, why? Why would you make it that complicated? Like, is it actually a major problem that people have just figured out that a switch is really easy to defeat when you know it's there? The red Lenovo LED. Hold on. Oh, you're right. There is a light pipe. I don't know. But it's going into a thing that says CI for case intrusion. Maybe it is just a power LED. Yeah, maybe just the silk screening is weird. Open it in the dark like a real hacker. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, we've got a BIOS battery down here as well. I shall have a quick look at that and just see if those need to be... If those need anything doing to them. These are old enough that they're probably all knackered, but if they're over 3 volts, then I'll just send it. Because they're desktops, it's not a big deal to change that if it turns into a problem later on down the line. .00 flat, yeah, it's good enough. It just scrapes through for me. If it was a laptop, I would say it needs changing, but on a desktop, who cares? It's not a big deal to change that. Right, can I see the CPU now? Oh, look at that, it is a socketed CPU. I'm actually quite surprised by that. And the thermal paste was... Oh yeah, no, the thermal paste is dry. Yeah, worth repasting. Alright, so... Can you unplug the VGA ports and just plug in a display port? So these... Yeah, so... Back here, there's a whole bunch of little connectors on the board. So obviously, these are interchangeable modules for the spec of the computer, and you just plug that into whichever connector it needs to be plugged into. So in this case, this one is spec'd out with a serial port, a VGA port, but they have dual display ports already. So yeah, that's the only slight annoying thing with these is they're all display ports. So so you're going to need Type-C adapters. This one's got a mangled display port on it. That's unfortunate. Rip that display port. That one looks a little bit shabby. Hopefully it works. Yeah, I wonder if any of those connectors can actually be used for HDMI. That's one of the catches with little things like this, because again, if I want to sell these to customers, it basically means that I'm going to need to buy a bunch of DisplayPort to HDMI adapters, because most people are not going to have DisplayPort monitors. So, yeah. So yeah, yeah, an adapter is cheap, so it's not a big deal. But and again, you could also get a DisplayPort to HDMI cable, but that's still something I need to buy a bunch of in order to sell with the device. That's something I've got to stock in advance. Okay, right. I'm going to grab some thermal paste and repaste this one while I've got the thing off. Then we'll have, actually before I do that, I'll have a quick look under the bottom. Oh, that just slides off now, huh? Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, there's our M.2 SSD bay. So it will take an M.2 SSD, and that's probably going to be an 8 gig module, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this one had 2 4s.
Yeah, this is a single 8, so yeah. And it is DDR4 2400, which is fine, because at 7th gen, who cares? Yeah, that's good that they will take M.2 drives, though. That's nice to know, because M.2 drives are cheaper to buy than SATA these days. So, yeah. It just means that if any of them need replacing, that's actually viable. I bet it's picky on NVMe boot. You reckon? It's 7th gen. It's not archaic. Like,
yeah,
don't get me wrong.
It's a Lenovo. It's a Lenovo OEM machine.
I mean, we can put it to the test.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's only because I know that that's a thing on some devices.
Yeah. Oh, weak. This has got a 6400T in it.
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping for 7th gen.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, only a couple of them are. I think it's only the ones with Type-C on the back that are 7th gen.
Yeah. All right. We'll have to fire them all up and just check the actual spec of them all, so I actually know what I've got. That's kind of why I wanted. That was kind of my objective here. Is we've got to turn all of this stuff on and actually see what I have. So yeah.
Yeah.
So yes. All right. Okay. Well, fine.
DisplayPort replacement stream when? Next week when you're here, Moretto. Moretto? That's not your name.
That's not my name.
They call me Hal. They call me Stacy.
They call me Dave Bob. Okay. Well, no, I'm not replacing the DisplayPort on one of these. Mainly because I'd have to find the new port as well.
You could just steal the port next to it. If the entire thing was the ability to replace the DisplayPort, and it's already a scrap computer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, failing that, you know, we might look through all of these. Like, one out of this bunch might be just no good.
Yeah.
Or if enough of them have damage to them, it may be worth turning one of them into a sacrificial donor PC and using it to fix the faults that all the others have. So then that would suddenly become worth it. Well, not economically worth it, but worth it for the content, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
7500T. Awesome. All right. Yeah. I knew we had a bunch. Yeah, I'm glad you're checking those, actually, because we've got a bunch of old Intel CPUs.
Legitimately, if anyone wants a 6500T, I can do you many. Many.
From your experience with bicycle repair, it's usually the same part that's broken on all machines. Yeah, that's. I wouldn't surprise me, Katrina. Yeah.
Ah,
Right.
can I interest you in an SMD component?
Oh no. Yeah. Oh. Well, one of these CPUs is missing a bypass cap from the bottom. Good luck, everyone. Not this one. So.
If I can interest anyone in a 6500T, I have 4 of them.
Very well. This stream should have been titled "Looking Gift Horses in the Mouse."
In the
In the
mouse.
mouth. Yeah. These things probably cost 50 quid on eBay.
Ah, there's a 7500T.
You know, don't get me wrong, because there's a whole bunch of them. Like, sure, if we add the value of all of this together, there's a reasonable amount of value there. But this is the thing. This is kind of... it sounds really entitled to just look at all these computers and go, this is all crap. But if I can't sell it, then it's worthless to me.
Yes.
And in order to sell it, it has to be a product that, like, if I sell it, I have to support it. Because that's how this works. You know, so that's the thing. It's a matter of, like, you know, if I can't sell it, then it's worthless to me. And in order to sell it, it has to be something that will actually run modern Windows in a satisfactory way that I can actually put my word behind and say, this computer is viable and I will support it if there is a fault with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I'm not comfortable selling a computer just saying there's no warranty. Like, I know we mentioned that just then, but, like, if I had so little faith in it that I would be selling it with no warranty, I would not sell it. And if I'm selling it with a warranty, then I have to know that it's actually viable. Otherwise, the customer will be back in 2 weeks saying, give me my money back. In which case, I've lost out on that sale, and I've got an unhappy customer, and I've probably lost out on the transaction fees of my card machine.
Yeah.
So that's the thing, is it's very easy to look at this and be like, you know, you just got all this computer stuff for free, don't be ungrateful. But is it actually worth anything to me? That's the thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I would just throw it all in the skip, you know, like anything that I don't, you know, I could well give it away, but can I give it away? You know, do I put it on the side and just say to someone, you know, free to a good home? I'm not posting this. I don't got time for that, you know. So, you know, that's the thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to run Windows. I'm not selling a computer with Linux on it, because then I have to support Linux. And the customer will come back and say, I couldn't install my printer on it. And the customer will come back and say, my kid couldn't run Roblox on it. This is the real world. This is the real world. It has to run Windows. A normie has to be able to understand how to use it, and a normie has to be able to open up their email and it not take 15 minutes to start up and open email. This is real. This isn't what it can theoretically do. Yeah, it can theoretically run Linux and boot up in 10 seconds flat, but I can't sell it to a customer for that, you know.
Yeah, basically.
So yeah. All right. Linux is okay for 1% of the users, and none of them shop in my shop. So yeah. All right. Anyway. Okay. So, right. That's got 7th gen in it now. Let me think. Because this one's got a busted DisplayPort on it, I'm kind of inclined not to put our only 7th gen CPU in this particular one. So, oh gosh, okay, yeah, we have a small stack of 7th gens. Okay, we're good for CPUs. Do these all have their bypass caps?
I don't know. Ah, it's the box of Wi-Fi
No,
stuff.
this one's missing a bunch of bypass caps. Oh my god, are we doing CPU surgery?
I mean, you could do.
All right, so this one's been in the wars. Huh? There we go. That one, top right, that's missing its bypass caps.
Well, I know where one of them is.
We know where one of them is. We could probably steal the bypass caps from one of these 6400Ts and stick it on this one instead.
No, don't steal it from the 6400T.
Why not? We've got 10 of them.
No, steal it from the Celeron G3930.
I see. Does that have the same layout on the bottom? No.
You have lots of options.
Because like the where's the 64?
Do you want some of them?
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, is that a Pentium or whatever?
This is a Celeron G3930.
Okay, yeah. Because I was going to say, I'm only going to take it. Oh, this one's missing a lot of shit actually. Oh, that's missing tons.
Finds that maybe you need one of them.
That's missing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 components, and one of those components is that size that's like 01005 or something like that, like getting into 0.5 millimeter wide kind of thing. So yeah, I don't think we're saving this one. That's just been in the wars. That's no bueno. Well, at least we found the one that's busted. Yeah. Okay.
No, the ones that are missing parts are from just the box of CPUs.
Yeah, these are all secondhand CPUs that we just have in a box. Because at some point, on 2 different occasions, someone has just sent in just a box of old CPUs that are just kicking around because they're all like 6th, 7th. They're all like 4th, 6th, 7th gen CPUs that are basically worthless unless you're in the situation that we are in right now, where suddenly we've got a bunch of period correct PCs that we can just knock up by a generation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
Cool. All right. Right. So that's got. I'm gonna put this one back together again.
Prepares a box of Core 2 Duos for Graham's capacitor supply.
No, I don't want them. I'm going to stare all the way down the throat of that gift horse and say, no, I do not want your Core 2 Duos. This is an ungift. That's not me being snide. It costs me money to throw it out. I can't take it up the tip because I'm business. When you give stuff like this to me, it costs me money to dispose of it. I lose money by accepting this stuff. That's why I'm looking this gift horse in the mouth. So yeah, they contain gold. Oh boy, there's got to be a penny's worth of gold there. Oh, right. Let's fire one of these things up and have a quick look at it, and then I think we'll go fast. Go and just literally just got to lift the lid on all of them. come on. There we go. Right, that's that. Whoop.
Send them all to Pianov. He wants all the Core 2s he can get.
Does he? I'm not sure
And
if
I quote, Pianov, I'd take them. My Core 2 collection can never be big enough. And I quote, from chat, it is there. The only problem is I think that would require Pianov to actually have an address to exist in the real world. Not to just be that man who appears and tells you, actually, you're repairing that wrong.
Is he even French? Who knows?
I think we're reasonably clear on that one.
Does Pianov is France?
Huh?
Okay. Anyway, we don't have Core 2 Duos, but if someone does have Core 2 Duos that they want to get rid of, apparently Pianov desires them. I will not elaborate. So, how does that go back in? Like that. There we go. I think. That it? That feels incredibly unconvincing. Oh, that sits on the top there. There we go.
Does it?
Yeah. Yeah, there we go. That's him.
Oh, okay.
Cool. Groovy. Right. I did put the bottom on that, didn't I? Yep. Good. Right. Let's turn this on and actually just check that it works. Then, if it works, I've got to wipe the SSD. So, okay, right. So for each one of these, we need to check what the spec is, check that it actually functions, note the SSD, note the serial number of it, and erase the SSD.
Okay.
That is my obligation to the client, to note the serial number and erase the SSD, but also I want to verify what does and doesn't work, because if it doesn't work, I'm going to give it back to him.
Yes.
Because if it does not work, then I can't do anything with it. So, right. Power supply. Where did the other keyboard and mouse go? Ah, I can't see it past this pile of computers. And I need to get a display cable because we've only got HDMI on that monitor at the moment. Ugh. Ooh.
Where is your display port?
Right, let's put it into this one. So this other port was actually also damaged. Feels okay. Yeah, that felt fine plugging something into it, so should be fine. Boop. Groovy. Right, we have no capture set up for this because they're DisplayPort, so I'm just going to relay what I hear on the screen. These also have customer data on them, so we can't show anything anyway.
You're going to relay what you hear on screen. Are you okay?
No, I'm in chronic pain, but it posts, so that's a good sign. That means the CPU works.
Lenovo.
I probably should have bashed into BIOS then. Are these are probably F2 for BIOS, I'm guessing. I think I missed the BIOS prompt there, I must have. No signal, I see. Did it just turn off again or something? Nope, there it goes. Oh, F2 spam. Although because it's a ThinkStation, it might be like enter or something annoying like that. This looks like it's power cycling.
If you have a CRT, you can hear the screams.
This is true. Yeah.
Also, the screams.
Yeah, pain sciatica. Yeah. The sciatica is real, and it will be real for probably another 3 to 4 months. That's my estimated recovery time, so I will be complaining about it for quite a while yet. The hell is this thing up to? It's still on.
The power light is on.
Yeah, the hard drive light is flickering a little bit now and then.
You did take out the BIOS battery.
No, I never took it out. I left it in.
Oh, okay.
I measured it, but I didn't take it out.
Oh, I see. I thought you took it out.
Yeah. Change the CPU without checking the BIOS version. Yeah, it's a good point.
Oh, did you actually change the CPU?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It posted though. It threw up the Lenovo logo, and it can't do that without having some CPU functionality. So yeah, we have a Windows logo now.
We don't have a spinner, just the logo.
I'm saying now that SSD is wrecked. Just straight away, SSD is effed.
No, my cum SSD.
You can't say that.
My cum SSD, I bought it from Sex.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's sitting on the Windows logo with no spinner. This SSD sucks.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't even care because it's that XUM SSD. This is literally like I called it. I called it just straight away. I said I do not trust that SSD. Hey, look at that. The SSD whose brand I said I don't trust is faulty. So yeah.
Hey, it started loading Windows 10.
Want to see inside SSD? I mean, we could stab it. It's not that exciting. It's a circuit board with some NAND chips on it.
It looks like an M.2, just in a different shape.
More or less, yeah. It will have just the cheapest, lowest binned NAND chips and a 10-year-old NAND controller.
It actually has Intel Optane chips in it.
Will there be hot wine? Not today. Caradog's on the Stony Bonk, and I am not drinking alcohol at the moment because I'm taking amitriptyline, which might react badly with alcohol. I don't know yet.
Yeah, but I want to see that.
Well, if it reacts badly with alcohol, I will just be like, I'm falling asleep. It will just like that's the side effect if you combine it with alcohol. Is my understanding is it will just send me to sleep. So yeah, I do actually want to put that to the test at some point, but I'm going to test that at a time when it doesn't matter if I just go like, I'm just going to bed, you know. So yeah.
So a Sunday night.
Basically, yeah. Yeah, finish stream. Take that, yeah. I mean, maybe on a yeah.
It's what you start. It's what you start drinking at 10:30.
Yeah.
Can I make it to the end of the stream?
Oh no! I get tired toward the end of the stream as it is. This thing is still loading Windows. I don't even care. It posted.
Every subscriber, I take another drink.
Oh no! That's a dangerous game. Okay, right. This thing posts. It needs a new SSD.
Do you want to take the SSD out?
Do you want to pull the SSD out of that? I'm just going to throw the SSD in the bin. So yeah. I tell you what I will do actually though is I'll just quickly. Let's see. Win 11 ready. This is a SATA SSD. Chuck that in the bottom of it, and we'll just see if it'll boot that SSD. That should have Windows 11 on it all ready to go. So. And DisplayPort replacement. I probably won't bother. I'll probably just stick a blanker in the broken DisplayPort. It's got 2 of them. And like the people who are buying these are not running dual display.
And even if they were, they can just run dual display.
Oh, daisy chain. Yeah, yeah. Wipe it. Oh yeah. That drive will go into the responsible drive disposal box, which is these need to be professionally wiped or destroyed or otherwise. So yeah. Yeah, we suspect that SATA won't work on these. We're about to find out. We're going to put that to the test. Because I've got a couple of SATA M.2 SSDs kicking around, but I kind of want to get rid of them just because they're sort of problematic. Right, this one's missing a screw. Is this the one that you opened up?
The screw
we've got
is
a screw there.
there.
Yeah, that's fine. Cool. All right. Do any of them have... Oh, yeah, we need to check for BIOS locks as well. Yeah.
Right.
So we'll check that when we fire that one back up. Do you want to stick us back on bench cam?
Where is the SSD? Oh, it's there.
Yeah. Start zapping this one apart.
I can't tell you if it works with an SSD because the SSD is missing in action. It's been eaten by the void.
I'm going to get another big screwdriver. Big screwdriver.
Are you going to take the RAM out of these if you are just junking them?
Yeah, if any of them are getting junked, then
certainly the 8 gig modules.
Yeah. If any of them are being junked, then so
I think the 8 gig modules are worth it.
Yeah, I need to triple check anything that I'm not explicitly keeping. I will need to check with the customer to find out what their intentions are. If they're going to give them to a recycling centre or the tip, then yes, I will pillage. Basically, if I'm not... let me start again.
Yeah.
If I'm not keeping it, then I need to check with the customer if they mind me pillaging it. Because if I'm going to turn up my nose and say this isn't worth it for me, then the client might turn around and say, well, I'll see if I can find someone who does want it with its current spec. And if I've just pillaged it for all of the good parts, then that would be a dick move. So yeah, yes.
Bom, 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 bom.
Oh. That's annoying. Can't get to... I've got to take the Type-C port out to get to the
what?
Screw there.
Oh. Interesting.
Everyone raves about framework, but look at this. Modular ports, people. Am I wrong? Is this not modular? Missing the point? Yes. Factually incorrect? No. Oh my god. What is happening?
What?
Oh. Well, it has 2 wires going to it.
One
Weird.
for display, one for USB.
Oh, I guess, yeah. USB 2 and ATX, nope.
And probably just COM.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that much being said, I think when you have a USB 3 port, I think it runs the USB 2 lines to a separate chip, to the USB 3 chip. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, bone dry. For a long time in my videos, I've been saying I don't bother doing thermal paste unless I have a reason to believe it needs doing. However, I think we're reaching the point on modern computers now where just because of floating boost and just modern CPUs in general driving the boost pretty hard, it now just seems to be fairly standard practice that they just all cook their paste. Like all of the Dell Latitudes that I'm buying in now all need their thermal paste to be redone.
Yeah.
As a must do. So I have officially changed my stance on that. Any computer that I'm working on now, yeah, the thermal paste has to be done. Right, 6500T, that's coming out.
Oh, a 6500. Upgrades, people. Upgrades. 'Cause the other one was a 64. Oh!
Yeah, there was a little bit of thermal paste had dropped into the socket. 7500T.
Do not worry. I can. Oh no, it won't work, will it? Never mind.
What were you thinking?
I was going to say I can also supply you with 8500Ts, but they won't work.
No. Although that much being said, I think that might... I'm sure you could probably do a modified BIOS to get that compatibility in, but that's not a game that I want to play for something that I have to support.
Yeah.
Although, like, again, for one of these that I want to keep, that would be a fun project to do. This would be a really good candidate for a, lol, I put a 9th gen CPU in this ancient box and it works. That would be quite funny.
Yeah. It'd be worth, if you ever got one, like a 90, what'd it be, a 9600?
Yeah,
Or something
whatever
like that.
whatever the lowest power 9600 is, like,
Well, I was also just thinking if you ever got like a 9600 or a 9700, replacing the 7700 in the YouTube rig.
Oh, I see. Yeah, upgrading the YouTube rig. That might be a good candidate as well, because like the YouTube rig is currently a tragedy taking place because it's a 7700K with an Asus Maximus motherboard. Like that's a really nice motherboard with a 7700K in it, and it's kind of just dying of old age, which is a shame.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm kind of looking at that computer going, I should probably upgrade that, but what am I going to do with that 7700K? It seems a shame to get rid of it, and also it was gifted to the channel, but also it's getting old. It is dare I say it, obsolete.
It's 7 generations old.
Yeah, so yeah, that it would be interesting to see if that can be modified to take a newer CPU.
Yeah.
To give that a new lease, because like the 7700K, I've got no super attachment to that, but the motherboard is cool.
Yeah.
The pairing is a good pairing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Piernoff says generally BIOS mod on OEM machines isn't really feasible.
That's fair. Yeah. I guess it needs too much work to make it work, and like you've got to do that mod for that specific OEM machine, whereas I'd imagine BIOS mods for aftermarket boards, I'm guessing if you make a modded BIOS, that BIOS has pretty broad compatibility across other ATX boards, ?
Yeah,
I wouldn't know. This fan cable is very annoying to plug in.
Yes, I don't know where the quote-unquote drivers sit for different Wi-Fi cards or different like Ethernet adapters and things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, as JD says, it's fair, coffee mods are very board specific.
Fair. Yeah. Also, Pete pointed out that in terms of putting ridiculous CPUs into these, we've got to keep in mind what the cooler can manage. So, like, I don't think I'd be comfortable with anything more than a 45-watt CPU in here. I guess you could put a 65-watt CPU in there and just assume that it's not going to be running maxed out all the time, and it just races to idle. But also, like, that means that it probably won't be very good for running Plex, because if Plex decides to transcode something, then, well, you're now going to be running maxed out while it's transcoding,
Yeah.
So that instantly starts limiting what you can do with it. Whereas these CPUs that we've got here are like 40 watt, 45 watt CPUs.
Yeah. Yeah, but like something like the 9500T is going to be fine because it's still going to be like 35 watts, the same as the 8500T or the 7500T is.
Yeah, right. This one's got a SanDisk X400 256 in, which is
and it's
fine.
specifically the Opal version.
What's the Opal version mean?
It's the encryption.
Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. So it's actually slightly better than trash tier then. Yeah. Yeah, because like I normally, these SanDisk SSDs, those are in my not cheapest money, minimum viable kind of thing. Like, I wouldn't call it a premium SSD, but you can buy that and assume that it's not going to fail within 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's not yellow.
Yeah, sometimes they came in black. Groovy, right. We've already looked at that.
Oh, it's got a dock. It's got a dock connector on it. That's how you know it's professional.
Yeah.
It's got a dock connector and also a Windows 7 license.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Well, of course it's got a Windows 7 license. It's got a removable battery.
Yeah. I don't think... We're not even going to bother looking at that, I don't think, other than just, again, we've got to erase it. But, yeah. The fact that that's got a Windows 7 license on it, I don't think I actually care.
The registration number is XXXX.
I see. X gonna give it to you. I see.
Did you remove the RAM?
Nope. Did you?
No.
3 short, 1 long. Unless it doesn't like the CPU. Maybe these things are on maybe there's a BIOS version disparity between these.
Maybe.
Like some of them have done a BIOS update and some of them haven't.
Yeah.
Just going to swap the memory modules all about. Let's just put a single one in DIMM 1. See what it does.
Where is the display?
Alright, sounds like it's going to go. Yeah, I didn't bother plugging in the display because I was half expecting it to sing me a song again. However, it has not started beeping wildly, so probably going to need a reboot. I'll just unplug it and plug it back in again. Yep, that is posted. Enter.
To go into setup, please press enter.
Yeah, I hate Lenovo for this. Everyone, F12 or F12, F10 or F2 kind of thing, Lenovo, enter. Or it gets better. There were some Lenovo laptops where there was a specific button on the laptop that was called like the think button or something like that. I'm not joking. It was something.
Was it also in that weird dull off blue?
Yeah. It was some the Think Vantage button. That was it. Yeah, Think Vantage. See, I wasn't joking. The Think Vantage button. You had to push that, and it's just like, why? Think Vantage TM. Updating your system. Okay. Right. I'm just going to wait for this to get to Windows, and then I just want to go into BIOS and check if it has a BIOS lock on it, because that's a thing we want to check these for. Because BIOS lock isn't automatic. I can't sell this because that's something that will come and bite me in the ass at some point as well.
And I presume you can't remove that just by reflashing the BIOS from a programmer.
Well, actually, maybe. These are probably old enough that that would be viable. Right, now it's F1. Enter and then F1. There we go. Right. Okay, right. There does not appear to be a BIOS lock on this.
Yes, the BIOS date is the 11th, is a 2019.
Yeah. Although the mouse and keyboard doesn't seem to work inside BIOS, so that's a bit concerning. I don't know what that means. I'm going to try and get that other memory module back in there, just see if that actually works. Give it away, send it to the coder. Why does the coder want it? Ooh. Right. Okay, sounds like one of those memory modules might be crap. Guy borrows broken boards to make his driver. Interesting. Driver for what? Alright, that was DIMM 2, so let's try this module on its own in DIMM 1. If this has got a Duff DIMM slot, then I guess we'll stick an 8GB module in there and send it. Because no, I cannot be bothered to run a soldering iron across it. Okay, it's a bad memory module. his last vid, he's upgrading what? What is a driver? What it want? All right. Okay. That's
Re-hot memory stick.
yeah. I think I don't care. All right, that's crap. So this needs more memory because 4 gig ain't enough.
Air fryer fixes memory stick.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, I'll put this one to one side because it needs memory. I'll just rough put the panels back on. Actually, do I just have another? That's DDR3. Ugh, I must have a 4 gig memory stick kicking around here. So here's one with a question mark on it. That's an 8 gig. 4 gig. Yeah, that'll do actually. I'll just stick this 4 gig module in there. Alright. 8 gig is barely enough these days. Yeah, it is. 8 gig is minimum viable, but it is still viable. And when we're talking about second-hand computers of this era, it's kind of all that's worth doing on them. Are you making a note of the SN and specs of the Computer Pro? The serial number is all I need, and we can do that last minute. I don't need to track which one is which. I just have to, at some point, I just need to write down the serial numbers of all of them. So, yeah.
Womp womp. It won't boot off of that SSD.
Fair
Assuming
enough.
there's an install on there.
Yeah, okay, let's try a different one. I'll quickly drop... This is a Kioxia. I'll quickly just drop Windows onto a Kioxia SSD and just find out if they can indeed boot from quote-unquote anything. Restore disk. Come on. Right, and restore 256 image to Ecosis. Go!
Let's go, go, go! Come out.
Wow, it's taking ages. Come on, get going. All right, off it goes.
Fine.
Right, that is restoring.
I'll put this one over here.
This one we're going to find out if that memory stick works. Plug you in. Okay. Her. I'm going to try swapping these around because I have put in mismatched memory, so I'll put the... Let's just try bashing these in different orders. That sounds like... Oh, never mind. Don't tell me it's got a bad slot as well. I'll try putting... So that's a known good module. I'll try putting that in DIMM 2 and see if it'll let me do that. Problem is, a lot of my spare memory is untested, so a lot of this is just blind testing.
Different layout.
Oh, that's the Wi-Fi. Yeah, that one's a different model, I think.
Wait, what? Is that socketed? Is that a socketed Ethernet port?
Wacky. Alright, that's doing something. Oh, was that the single module setup? Yeah. Okay. Doesn't mean anything there. Right. Let's try you. Okay. It's possible that these won't run with anything faster than like 2400 in, and I'm trying to run 2666 sticks at the moment. Have I got something that's bad? 3200. Mystery 4 gig module.
Oh.
3200. God, the face when you actually want some bad memory. Okay, what about a single 8 gig 2666 stick? I don't really care what combination goes in there and works. It just needs to have 8 gigs. I do not care what configuration the 8 gigs is in.
This is a somehow 6 gigabyte module, and this is a 2 gigabyte module.
Yeah. You on? Yeah. There we go. That's working with that. I think that might have maybe a bad memory channel or something like that, because it just seems to have an issue if you have 2 modules in it. However, it's working just fine with a single 8 in it, so sitting on BIOS for a long period of time though. I'm going to give that one more.
Oh, this is also a 6400T.
I'm going to give that one more reboot just to make sure. This is why refurbing is problematic. Yeah. This is why, hey, look, someone gave me a box of old computers. Isn't the blessing that a lot of people think it is. Because this is kind of the thing you've got to do, is just go through and just like figure out if any of them are actually viable. Which is fine. You know, this is why this is sort of potentially good podcast content, because we've got time for that. It's taking a while to post. I'm going to check the BIOS battery on it. Can I get to that from here? Oh no, the BIOS battery is under the fan. Oh, it's hideous. I hate it. It's a great time sink. It surely is. Also, I'm going to bring back the quote-unquote bad stick, because we've that might be okay. Oh, no, we tried the bad one on its own, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes, so that one's definitely bad. This isn't posting. I'm going to turn it off and on again one more time. Why won't you die? God, I hope they're not all going to give us this much trouble, because otherwise we're going to be here all day. Okay, Lenovo interrupts normal startup. Press enter. It power cycled. Interrupt normal startup. Press enter.
Yeah, to secure arrays and SSD, you just send the ATA secure arrays command, and the SSD handles it itself.
Yeah.
Because the data effectively sits encrypted on each memory chip, it just nukes the encryption key, and therefore the drive is erased.
Yeah. I need to
But
find,
you have to.
Yeah, I need to find the slickest way of doing that, because I don't actually have a simple way of doing that. And frustratingly, the window, like a lot of the Windows utilities are often tricky because, like, if you get the manufacturer, like I tried to do this with.
Can you not just send it from PowerShell? Because I'm pretty sure
I
that's
don't
what
know. Can you?
LED told me to do.
I didn't know you could do it from PowerShell. Yeah.
Or Windows Terminal.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was trying to erase.
It's also a case of almost all modern UEFIs have
it in BIOS.
Have it in
the
UEFI.
That might be an easy way of doing it, just plugging it into a computer that has that command in BIOS. But yeah, this Kingston drive, I was trying to do the erase on this using the Kingston SSD software, and it said you can't erase this drive because it has partitions on it. So I was like, okay, disk part, clean disk. Partitions are removed. Cool. Go back into the software. It says the partitions have been removed, but you have to power off and power on the drive without restarting the computer. Okay, so I unplugged the drive and plugged it back in again. And then because I'd done a clean disk, Windows was just like, oh, there's partitions here, because clean doesn't actually erase the drive. And so then it said, there's partitions on this drive, you can't delete it. And I'm like, how the hell does this even work? You know, nonsense. This thing doesn't want to go. It's definitely poorly. I might... see, here's the question. How long are we going to spend on each one of these? Do we give up on this one and move on to a different one? Or do we say, well, you know what? We're here to troubleshoot, so let's troubleshoot. What do folks in the chat think? Do we, if we get hung up on one of these, do we put it in the pile of naughty computers, and I come back to it another time, or do we continue to troubleshoot to figure out what the actual status is?
Oh, it's Kingston, so of course I don't know what the fuck it is.
All right. I might change the CPU in this in case this CPU just has a completely buggered memory controller.
Maybe.
Triage them and then move on. Yeah. Come back to it. I'm going to quickly swap the CPU in this in case, because we put one of the Mystery i 7th gens in here, and maybe that CPU is just crap and doesn't work. RAM picky? I don't believe that. Like, very, very few computers are legitimately picky with RAM, in my experience. Picky about what Wi-Fi card you put in them, and sure. Maybe picky about SSDs in a sense of like it won't work with SATA SSDs, sure. But being picky about RAM, I just don't think that's that common, personally. I'll shunt over here. Ooh. Bang my head on the camera.
Watch out for the camera.
Jumped out of the bushes at me. Right. What are you testing in there?
Another one.
Oh, is that just a fresh one? Yeah, okay, cool. Another one. There we go. Sixth gen BIOS CPU. You find laptops picky about RAM? Well, they're only picky about RAM if you're using the wrong RAM in them. And I know that sounds facetious, but what I mean by that is most of the time when when a laptop is being quote unquote picky with RAM, it's because you're trying to use it's because you're putting non-low power RAM into a laptop that requires low power RAM or something like that. You're using the wrong type of RAM. Whereas when I say something is picky about RAM, that means like it has to be in the correct slots and it only works with certain speeds and things like that. Because theoretically, any higher speed stuff should be okay if it will just like downclock it or whatever, you know. I didn't explain that very well, but hopefully you get my meaning. Go, just scrape that all on that. Let's pop you out. That one looks like it's doing a whole load of nothing.
Case detection.
XMP versus Expo for DDR5. Yeah, potentially. I haven't actually tried mixing. I haven't actually tried using the wrong type as of yet.
That shouldn't make any difference to actually posting.
That's what I thought. Well, I mean, like, you can run in JDEC.
Yeah.
But, like, I would be surprised. No, well, okay, I was about to say, I would be surprised if you got caught out that much by trying to run an XMP profile on AM5.
Yeah. So would I.
Yeah, because a lot of XMP profiles, they're not actually that hectic.
No, they're literally just saying the primaries and
yeah.
a couple of voltages and a couple of frequencies.
I think you'd have to be fairly unfortunate for that not to work, unless you're trying to run exotic speeds, in which case, okay, sure. You know, but you know, there's exceptions to everything, but I don't think it's a flat rule. It's because you use thermal paste instead of toothpaste. I can't believe this. Seen issues where using two different high speeds, say 2666 and 3200, being dropped both to 2400 on the same system. Yeah, that is generally a bit of a crapshoot, but
that's also what I'd expect it to do.
Yeah, oh yeah, drop down to a low speed, but also when you do stuff like that,
I just expect it to go to the lowest possible for the board.
But also, if you're mixing RAM, you're probably doing it because you don't particularly care about the computer, or rather the computer doesn't particularly, like on these systems do not care about RAM speed, which is why we haven't even factored in dual channel here, you know. So if we mixed RAM and it tanks the speed down to 2400 megatransfers, I'd be like, who cares? You know, it's a 7th gen i5. It does not care.
Yeah.
Right. Right. That one is ready for another spin. That one seems to have come to life. All right. Is this one just a fresh one that you've just plugged in and turned on? Yeah. Okay, well that one seems to be starting and doing stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. I think it might have been a mistake to jump straight in with trying to change the CPUs in these, because obviously we're not sure when we're hitting faults with the computer and when we're hitting like maybe CPUs that don't actually work.
Yeah, but this machine functions.
Time for food. Take care, Caradog. See you tomorrow.
Okay. This one has been tested as functioning.
Cool.
That's all I'm actually going to do, is just make sure that it functions.
Yeah.
And I'll stack those ones over there.
I think that's fair at the moment. Do you want to give that one another spin? That's
because I haven't done anything to this other than change the thermal paste and it doesn't post.
Oh, okay.
Which is why I immediately went to, do these machines function?
Yeah.
Is that why they're getting rid of them? Because some of them don't function.
I kind of took for granted that there was nothing wrong with them because they'd come out of a working office, but that might have been a bold assumption.
Yeah.
When did PCs start caring about RAM speed?
The only it's a slightly complicated answer, and it's actually because of the Infinity Fabric on Ryzen that the average desktop computer cares.
Yeah. And of course it depends on what you're doing as well.
So largely because of the different way that Intel CPUs are constructed, in the sense of the way that the cores are laid out and communicate and so on, that is not linked to the memory speed, so they don't care in anywhere near as in anywhere near the same way.
Do you want to try and get that one into
just
BIOS?
cycling.
Yeah, just spam enter on that.
Oh, there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that looks like that's posting now. I think this CPU is crap.
Or unsupported.
Yeah. So we'll do one more test on that one. We'll just lob 2 memory modules in it. So do you just want to... yeah, no operating system found. That makes sense because there's nothing in it.
Oh, this doesn't have an M.2 in it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Right. Let's quickly just lob 2 memory modules in there and just see if it will post with 2. If it works with 2 memory modules in it, it means this CPU is crap.
Well, it means it's not compatible with this. We've no idea if we've got compatible BIOS.
I guess, but...
Because don't forget the BIOS on the device would have to be newer than 7th gen, so it means the devices would have had a BIOS update.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, all right. And also, if you want to get cray, if there's still time. Nope, there isn't. Okay, I was going to say we've got another M.2 SSD to test just to see if they'll boot M.2 SSDs.
Cool. Is this one up here definitely Wi-Fi only?
Yes.
Okay. That seems to have posted.
Yeah, okay. I think, yeah. All right. I'm going to assume that this CPU is suspect.
Well, we can't because we have no evidence that the CPU is suspect. We simply have that this machine doesn't work with that CPU.
All right, okay.
And we've no idea if we expect this machine to be able to work with that CPU.
Right. Well, let's see if it'll boot that SSD, and if so, we could try BIOS updating it then.
Yeah.
And then see if it works with the CPU.
We'd need to do that first.
Be objective. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And I don't really think there's a point in doing that until we've done all of the other stuff with them and worked out which ones you want to keep.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I'll leave that one cycling for a minute.
Yeah. Right. What was the story with this one again?
It's just not doing anything.
Oh yeah. Okay. That one's kill. All right. So this one's going into the naughty pile then.
Yeah.
That one works.
Yeah.
Right. I'll stick that one. That's that one. Cool. All right. I'm going to put the cover on this one and put it in the naughty pile. This one's probably the best of the batch, so hopefully that's solvable. Because this one looks like it's like a refresh newer because it's got it has Wi-Fi on it and it's just got different I/O on the back.
Yeah, it's also got a slightly different internal layout.
Yeah, so like this is the one that I wanted to keep, so I'll be a bit sad if it's kaput. Whoop. Who left this stupid bag down here?
I can't help but feeling like it's your shop.
How dare you? All right, let's just quickly label this. There's my Sharpie. There we go. Right, so this one was a no post.
I honestly thought you were just going to label it as naughty PC.
No post. Okay, right. This one over here boots. So
F1.
Did this one actually boot to Windows?
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Boot.
I don't know if it's got a password on it. UEFI doodad.
P/W. Cool. I've just put a quick checklist on there for stuff that we still need to learn.
Oh, this is now booting Windows 11 and not going into the UEFI, like I told it to.
Ugh.
But it wouldn't boot from the UEFI. It wouldn't boot from the SSD unless you went into the boot menu by hitting enter. It cycled and said couldn't find a boot device.
Yeah.
So I power cycled it, hit enter, got the menu, went okay, go into the UEFI, and it instead booted off the SSD.
Yeah. Maybe in legacy boot, and it's just getting hung up on legacy boot or something.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But
yeah,
I'm sure it'll sort itself out in a second. I guess all you're going to do with that is just take the storage drive out, because it's a
right.
Windows 7 laptop.
That was the Windows 7. Yeah, yeah. I'll open this one up.
It is booting.
Aha.
There we go. It has
Cool.
successfully booted from the...
Oh, it did. Yeah, we probably want to do a shutdown, like yeah, we want to do a shutdown on that, so it switches off, and then turn it on again and make sure it actually gets going on its own. But I'm not picking up the keyboard either. There's something funny about these. Like the other one where I actually did get into the BIOS config, it wouldn't detect the keyboard either. Try one of the front USBs or something.
Does this work? Like, I'm not saying I question the quality of your equipment. However...
Yeah, it worked earlier on today, but maybe the batteries are getting low or something.
I am going to...
Yeah, just do a...
prove a point.
Yeah, just do a confidence test, because... yeah, I can see why you'd be worried.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. That's weird. It worked earlier on because we were using it on the stream PC.
Oh, there we go.
That feels like the batteries are low. I'm going to grab you. I'm going to get a new pair of batteries.
Okay.
Does that take AAAs or AA's?
It takes AA's.
Okay. I'll give you these for now. Oh, balls. I think those aren't charged. Where are my AA's? There should be a box of them.
Where are my Pro cells?
Ooh, okay, we'll try lobbing these in them for now. I've got a horrible feeling these things aren't charged.
$1.34. Ha! Escapee.
Where's the receiver?
0.6.
Oh, it's plugged in now, yeah. Okay, okay. This is working here now.
One of them is 0.6 and one of them is 1.34.
It's weirdly unbalanced. Thank you. Right, hopefully these will get us through the stream. I'm fairly certain these are rechargeables in here, and they were in the charger, which generally means this is waiting for the next set of batteries to come back in, and then I'll charge them all together. So those are probably low as well, but hopefully they'll just get us through the stream. Okay.
There we go.
Cool, right.
You say that, surprisingly weirdly unbalanced. Had a box of new Pro cells that had an expiry date of like 2028 or something.
Yeah.
Took them out of the box. Three of the batteries all had voltages of like 0.3, 0.4.
Ah. Wild.
So yeah.
Oh.
That's not the power button. I think it's the intrusion detection button.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's why it's got CI down in the corner there. Cool. All right. Cool. Right. So if that starts booting Windows now, then we know that it's okay with the NVMe SSD.
Huh?
How weird. They seem to come up with post twice. That's legacy boot. Okay, now it's UEFI booting. Yeah, that's fine. They work with any regular NVMe SSD.
Yes.
There's a non-zero chance that they might get fussy if you tried to put like 4th gen NVMe in there or something like that. That I could believe, but it's okay with just some generic OEM SSDs that I've got kicking around. Cool. All right. Duracell and ProCell are crap now. Yeah. I use them in the wireless keyboard and mice, because these Logitech wireless keyboard and mice, you put a pair of AA Pro cells in there and they'll last a year. So that's fine. But for pretty much anything else, 12 gigs. Wait, do these have some onboard memory?
2 of 2 slots are used on this.
Or did we just put a really bizarre mix in there? Oh yeah, this is, hang on a sec. That's got a 4 gig, so yeah, that other one must be an 8 gig.
Huh.
Okay, fine. Well, we'll sort that out in a minute. Right now, we're just post-testing these at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So,
But it was more the fact that I was just like, huh?
Okay, yeah. Fine. All right.
Good.
So let's put that, so that one can go into the boots windows pile then. So yeah, put that, let's swap places. I'm going to take this one apart and pull the drive out of it. That one, put it back together again and put it into the it boots pile. And then that's now in the needs to actually be sorted out. Good job.
It was sticky.
Sticky.
Why is your SSD sticky?
My sticky body gets into all the crap. Anyway,
I require you.
oh yeah, what happened to the cum SSD?
Oh, no, I took it out. So what have you done with it?
I was asking you that question. Well, hopefully it's disapparated and we'll never see it again.
Do you want to put the cage back in this for 2.5 inches?
Yeah, there is our cage, so just lob that one
Should
in
I
there
take
for
the
now.
drive out?
No, because we haven't taken the drive out of the other one. Unless you want to take the drive out of the other one as well. At the moment,
Or are you going to use this SSD?
I'm not going to use that. Well,
In this machine, are you going to use this? Are you?
maybe I haven't decided
Yeah,
that yet.
okay.
Yeah. For now, just assemble it because we've
Yeah.
decided that we're not actually we're literally just post testing them now. I think is where we're up to.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of wanted to resolve them as we went, but we've started getting hung up on them so quickly that chat is going like, move on, and I'm like, okay. Unfortunately, though, the problem is that means I just have to come back to these, which means there's no point in doing what we're doing now. That's my concern. Is I'm like, well, what I don't do now, I just have to do later. So, but yeah, we'll see what we come to. Shum. Is that how it's pronounced? Shum. Oh boy, it's another one. Shum.
Shum shum.
All right. Do you have anything interesting in you?
Ah, you have DDR2.
That's DDR3. I do not care. Yeah. Armour says, I use rechargeables in all my keyboards and mice. Got some Loops and Energizer rechargeables. Yeah, as I say, for the Logitech keyboards and mice, I generally use alkaline, Pro cells, just because they last a decent amount of time. I don't think it really matters to chuck out a pair of AA's once a year, kind of thing, if that. However, for anything that's actually high draw, like my VR controllers, for example, my Quest VR controllers take AA batteries. I absolutely use rechargeables in those because the VR controllers burn through batteries. Same with like Xbox controllers. When I see people using alkaline batteries in Xbox controllers, I cringe.
Do you want to just put a label on there? Just to show that you've done something with it.
I'll let you do that.
Yeah.
So that is, you just stick no drive on that.
Yeah.
All right, what's this boy? Windows 8. So this is an automatic do not care as well.
Did they come out of this bag under here?
No, they did not.
Okay.
I
Was
guess
the
you could
laptops
stick them
in the box as well?
Yeah,
that's fine.
stick them in the box.
Yeah, the stuff it's functionally resolved.
Yeah. If you want to pull all of the chargers out of that box first. Oh boy, a hard drive.
There you go.
Come on. I missed something on that one? Nope. Screw, no screw, no screw. They get stuck sometimes.
Huh.
There we go.
Violence.
Yeah, Win 8 is 2012 plus. Well, I say when the next system came out, so Windows 10 is 2016?
15.
No, that was beta in 2015 though, wasn't it?
July 2015 is when
Was that Gold Master in
RTM
2015?
came out. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's why I keep saying to people that
I
it's
thought
10 years, man.
Yeah, I thought it was 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so at any rate, so at that point, I would then say this laptop is 2014 at best. So it's probably older than that.
Yeah.
However, because Windows 10 came out in 2015, it means it's at best 2014. So yeah, right, drive. I do put the cages or any mounting stuff back into laptops just because if this does end up at some recycling place that is going to send it to a third world country or something like that, and someone is actually going to reuse it, well, at least the mounting stuff is there.
Yeah.
I think it's a dick move to rip out the hard drive cages. I'm not going to go so far as to tape in these screws, but these are commodity screws. They don't matter. However, I will leave that there just in case. Also, because otherwise it's something else that I've got to throw out as well.
What's that?
Uh,
Oh, it's a little removable of the cover.
Yeah.
Weird.
What
RAM
is under
was
there?
down there.
Yeah, the RAM was in there. So what's under here then? It is
The battery.
BIOS battery, and it is maybe a WAN card because Wi-Fi was in there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so some kind of optional add-in card, possibly for WAN.
Yeah.
Was this a ThinkPad? Yeah, it is a ThinkPad, so yeah, it's probably a WAN card.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well then.
Yeah. It's not even worth being a magpie for the BIOS battery because it's so old that it's probably knackered as well.
Also, they're like £1 for
Yeah.
12 of them.
Yeah. Cool. Done. On to the next one. Done. I'm done. I'm on to the next one.
When did 1080p become standard in laptops?
Modern laptops, too damn late. Let me think. I would say...
Yeah. So I guess my question is then coming on to at what age does it become worthwhile just stealing the panel?
Oh, I see. Probably...
Or is it a case of probably never because there'll always be garbage panels? Unless it's like a ProBook latitude.
Maybe. So there's two issues. Is firstly, even though 1080p did start coming in, I would say as standard, a lot later than people are saying. I would say, really, the human eye can only see 1366 by 768. Caradog furiously moving to ban them. Oh, the mouse has stopped working. Oh, it's such a shame.
Can you get some equipment in this shop that works?
I need to buy some. I keep selling it. That's the problem. Where was I? Yeah. So, hot take. 1080p as standard in OEM laptops a lot later than people think. I'm going to say like 2017 maybe.
Yeah.
You could definitely buy laptops with 1080p earlier than that in higher end laptops. But at what point? Like right now, if I go to Dell and I buy the cheapest laptop that Dell sells,
I would tell you.
Yeah. If I go to Dell and I buy the cheapest laptop that they sell, it will now have a 1080p panel. That was not a given, and probably until like 2018, I think. However, also though, the panels from say 2018, at that point they still had metal frames, whereas now sort of COVID and post-COVID, we're on to the quote-unquote razor panels, which are the thin ones with just black plastic around the side and not a metal frame. So yeah, this one has no wireless LAN. That's a good point, actually. Maybe they've put the wireless LAN in this slot on this one, which is interesting as to why they...
Oh yeah, a label.
Yeah, it's there on this one. Who knows?
English. Wireless LAN
Yeah.
and mobile data modems generally connect over the same bus.
Yeah.
So the ports are interchangeable.
Yes.
Or the connection spaces on the boards.
They're mini PCI Express. Or, well, these ones I think are mini PCI. I'm not sure when they became mini PCI Express as standard. There's a date. This motherboard is dated December 2013, so there's an actual date code for this particular one. But yeah, once upon a time, I would have been stealing everything out of these. I'd be taking the RAM, I'd be taking the wireless card, I'd be taking the BIOS battery. But at this point, it's just like, who cares about any of this?
I could have understood that if the laptop was 3 years old.
Yeah. If we were chucking these out and they had DDR4 in them, then I might be stealing that. But also, if they had DDR4, then they might be viable, and I'd actually be checking if they're viable for reuse. But then also, DDR4 means it could be 6th gen Intel, which is in a laptop. Yeah, it could be viable.
Yeah,
it's worth checking. Screws. Mini PCIe has been there for almost 20 years. Yeah. I think I don't know what the distinction is, because the standard changed. Let me see if I can see. Oh, I've got an example here actually. At some point, is that the same? Yeah. At some point, we switched from this to this. This one's narrow, and I don't know if it's. I think they're exactly the same standard. They just made the PCB smaller. So I think they're actually identical. They just made the PCB narrower because they saved a fraction of a cent. I think that's the only difference. Now it's M.2, but M.2 is just M.2 is just PCI Express as well, though, isn't it? So yeah. Am I putting the disc screws? I'm not bothering with the actual disc screws because there's nothing to screw them into. I'd have to put a little bit of tape in there to hold them in place. And at that point, I think I'm taking way too much effort for a laptop that's likely going in the bin. Any PC refurber, I have pots full of these screws. Any PC refurber will have these screws. It's an M.3 screw. Sorry, it's just an M3 screw. So I'm not going to bother carefully taping screws back in. However, I'll leave the drive mount there.
This is already missing a screw.
Oh, it's another window. Oh man.
Windows 8 Pro.
Yeah, I thought at least one of these laptops might be. Well, I don't know. I don't know what I thought. Whoop.
Yes, but mini PCIe to connector that was used before M.2.
Oh yeah, fair. Yeah, that's the differentiator then. We went from mini PCI Express to M.2. Yeah, and of course you like
that combination of words there was very confusing for a second, because you went from calling it PCIe to calling it mini PCI Express. I was just like, hold on, wait. Oh no, okay, that's what the E
got
stands for.
Modern card in. I might steal that Wi-Fi card.
Why?
Because it's a narrow one, so it's actually semi-modern. Yeah, I'm stealing the Wi-Fi card out of that one. Because like dead Wi-Fi cards are rare, but not unheard of. I do see them every now and then.
Oh my god!
And sometimes people do come in and they've got a laptop that's it's getting on, but the only thing that's wrong with it is just they brought it in because their Wi-Fi doesn't work anymore. And so sometimes having these kicking around just so you can just stick that in there and say, give me a tenner, it just solves a problem.
Yeah.
You know. So that's worth robbing that.
Not a clue.
It's another hard drive. That, yeah,
Oh, it's a Qualcomm. It's
yeah.
a Qualcomm QCNFA335.
Probably Draft N is my guess.
Anatel 4405. Okay. But yeah, it's a QCNFA335.
Yeah. Yeah, and also as Pianov says, it's always good to have a stack of Wi-Fi cards because of whitelisting and things like that. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm not super fussed about most of the... because that one's a narrow card, that means it's... in my mind, that means it's slightly newer than the others. But also, I don't think... I think there's functionally no difference between them, so I probably am being a magpie there, but... Yeah, fine. Which way around did you go? You went in like that.
Is that DDR3 RAM again?
Yeah, probably. I think if they're Windows 8, they have to be DDR3. Not sure. It says 4 gig, but I'm not seeing any speed codes on that. Let's try the other one because this one's a crucial, so I'll actually say on it. Yeah. DDR3. Yeah, it's DDR3. Who cares?
You could still sell this laptop in your shop. No.
No. It'll come back the next day with the customer saying, oh, it's not very fast. What are you going to do? It's 20 quid for an SSD? Got to get that up to 8 gigs of RAM. So one of those... Oh, no, they were both 4, so it's got 8 gigs of RAM. But that, you know, what CPU has this got in it? It's going to be a dual-core CPU, maybe. It's a i5. It's DDR3 i5. It might be... When did 6th gen come out? Yeah.
6th gen is DDR3.
Yeah, it's almost certainly going to be a dual-core CPU, which means it's going to run like a dog on the modern internet. Because just no, absolutely not. I refuse to be that guy. Like, no, it's already gone out the door now, but I posted in the Discord earlier on this week, a customer came in with an Acer Aspire laptop. And they said, my dad bought this on eBay for my little sister. She set it up and instantly forgot the password. Can you reset the password? And I had a look at it, and immediately I knew that this laptop was old, you know. And she said she was obviously keenly aware that it was, and she was just like, I wish he'd spoken to me before he bought it, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, yeah, how much did you pay for this? Or how much did he pay for this? And she said, £200. And it was a Pentium, and it was a 2013 Acer Aspire, I think. And someone on eBay had polished it up, so it looked really nice, but it was 11 years old, had a spinning hard drive in it, and the guy charged 200 quid for it. And it's like, no, I will not be that guy. I will not sell people junk laptops. Just no, absolutely not. Sell them all to CEX for £1 each, but then now CEX are going to fleece someone for them. I'm not playing that game. I will not be part of that.
Yeah.
Just stop selling people junk. It's junk. Move on. Good laptops are not expensive in this country. You know, I know that we do enjoy a really good secondhand market here, but I can jump on eBay and I can find a laptop for 100 quid that is 5 years newer than this, has a quad-core CPU, 256 gig SSD, and 8 gigs of RAM in it for £100. Just no. Good stuff is not expensive, and I will not. I'm like, what would I bother selling that for? You sell it, you know, just.
Well, it's also probably going to need a new battery.
Yeah,
for it to be a
battery will be shot. I can't sell it with a hard drive in it, so that means I've got to spend 15 quid on the cheapest SSD money can buy, which means from that sale price of 50 quid, now I'm down to 35 quid. The battery immediately writes it off, so it's just like, what are you doing here? What are you doing? You know. So it's just no, absolutely not. Yeah. And no, we don't sell Linux boxes to people because they'll come. We said this earlier on in the stream, but we don't sell Linux boxes because they'll come in the next day and say, my son couldn't install Roblox on it. You know, it's just no. This is the real world. I know we can do all of these things, but should we? No, I just don't think so. I'm not saying it can't be done, you know. Like, I think Wild Floor Lamp sells Linux laptops now and then. But also, though, I
think they've also got a custom distro that they've basically built to look like Windows.
Yeah, which might make that viable. Why am I opening this up? Rather than open this up, I'm just going to turn it on and post test it because we're kind of not. We're doing triage right now. Where did the square boy go?
It's okay, you can remove the hard drive from this Windows 8 laptop.
Oh no, there's more. Oh no. Oh, okay, yeah.
Guess what? I've got another battery for you. It's okay, I can end your pain.
What's in there then? Oh boy, maximum quality.
I will end your suffering.
One can only hope.
I will disaccount you.
Just plug the PC in and test. Yeah, that's what we'll do in a minute. I think we'll just finish blasting through these laptops because these are all junk. I've taken one of these Wi-Fi cards. I'm not going to bother taking all of them because, yeah. I have a pot full of Wi-Fi cards, and every now and then I throw 90% of them in the bin because they've all gone obsolete.
Ah, there's a sign.
Be gone.
Hello.
Whew.
Are hard drives to be reused?
No, they are to be erased and destroyed.
Or just destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, the hard drives will be the easiest ones to deal with. You hit them with a hammer, that's it, they're erased.
No, my storage. Chonk.
Oh, my platters. My platters have been turned into sand. Whoop. All right, grab.
I am the sand platterer.
Guardian of the sand. Data quivers before him. Yeah.
Enter the sand platterer. Da, 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 da.
Check for Bitcoin wallets first.
Oh, you know what? I can sell you a Bitcoin recovery service. All you have to do is send me 1 Bitcoin from your wallet to prove ownership first.
Quitting Eve sale.
Most of those were legitimate.
Probably, yeah, yeah.
A lot of them, but also some of them were hilarious. There'd be like 8 or 9, you know, purple items at the top.
Yeah.
To make it look fancy, and there would be like 700 items in the window. But like those couple of purple items would be all the really cheap tat ones, and then it's just like excellent value, worth 9 billion, selling for 1.
Yeah, you can remove magnets from HDDs for your fridge. Yeah, they're not bad. If you want good magnets, you want to dig into the display assemblies and find the magnets in display assemblies because they're just an easier shape. Hard drive magnets are usually a weird shape, so they're not quite so usable.
Why are there good magnets in display assemblies?
Because display assemblies will have magnets around the rim because A, to catch the sleep sensor, and B, sometimes they're there just so the laptop holds itself shut a bit nicer.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, they'll usually be, if you rip the display assembly apart, you'll probably find at least a couple of magnets in there. The ones that I use on my screwdrivers, like this kind of thing. Boink.
It's no longer magnetic.
Yeah, so like these kinds of magnets, these are ones that I've taken out of display assemblies. And as you can see, they're just a bit more of a useful size to put on your screwdriver and to hold screws and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's, yeah, it's, if you're looking for magnets, the display assembly is a good place to go hunting. 3.5-inch magnets are pretty strong. Yeah, again, though, they're just a weird shape, which is why I usually don't bother. But absolutely, you certainly can, though. Right. Done.
Ta-da!
Done. On to the next one. Done. Right. Windows 8.
Oh, I didn't do a label. Unless I stuck it to the table.
I've got no labels around me at the moment.
Huh. Fine. There'll just be a random bit of tape somewhere.
Yeah.
You'll be like, why is there tape on this?
Oh, the dude who's got the hard drive lost in a landfill site. The guy might actually buy the whole landfill site. I hope the council tells him to F off, because he has been messing them around for years now for a drive that might be somewhere in that landfill. And they're looking for a needle in a haystack, and it's just like, give it up, man. Give it up.
I'm amazed that anyone would give them the money to be able to do such a thing.
Yeah. Like,
but
he'd have to get that money from somewhere to buy the landfill site, and that's assuming that he even could, which that I almost certainly there is some kind of health and safety law that would prohibit him from being able to buy it, because a landfill site, like, you have to maintain those forever. You don't just bury and walk away from those.
Yeah.
You know. So like you couldn't just sell him the landfill site. So yeah, the council should just tell him to go away.
Yeah.
Whoop. Got to find the proper haystack. Yeah, that's assuming that it's even there, and they don't know that it's even there. So yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, he'd have to mess up the landfill site, possibly causing an environmental incident. Yeah, you'd have to dig it all up and move it somewhere else to actually look for it. You'd need to sort through it all. It's just like, no, it's gone, dude. Give it up. It's gone.
Yeah.
We're not having this conversation. Thanks.
Unless, you know, the only kind of way I could see it working is if they're going to go through that landfill and extract all of the metals, all of the this, all of the that, and the so on.
Yeah.
Separate that stuff out, send it to proper processing places and so on, and as a byproduct of finding this Bitcoin, do effectively a landfill sorting and sending to proper recycling.
Yeah, maybe. But
that's the only way I can see it actually being authorized or accepted.
Yeah.
Is if there's a fully, like...
That would probably cost him the quote-unquote 500 million that it's possibly worth, which again is a purely theoretical number, because remember, let's pretend that he finds that drive tomorrow, and he has access to 500 million's worth of Bitcoin. He can't sell that. You can't just sell 500 million worth of Bitcoin, because that crashes the market. He can't actually sell that because the price is purely theoretical, because that liquidity isn't in the system. We're getting into complicated economics that I don't fully understand now, but like, That's like saying if someone
know.
if someone suddenly had access to half of the world's gold supply and just immediately sold it on the open market, you know, you would just crash the price of it.
Yeah. If it was Ethereum, it'd be different.
Yeah.
Because obviously Ethereum is moved now to proof of stake. So by
Has
having...
it?
Yeah, it did it. I thought it did it.
They keep saying they're going to do it, but as
Oh,
far as I know, they haven't actually done it.
Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought they said that they had done it. Yeah.
Right, that boots.
I misread the bot name and was just like, why have you called your device Airbnb?
Let's see.
Yeah.
Retro News says, query, why have you written Intel in your K400? Because the adapter is on, the receiver for it is on this Intel lanyard. So there are two of these in the shop. One of them is on an Intel lanyard. The other one is on a Enemax lanyard. So the Enemax keyboard is at home at the moment because I'm using it at home, but that one has Enemax written on it. So it just lets me know at a glance which one is paired to which one. So yeah, that's why one of them has Intel written on it and the other one has Enemax written on it. Right, that boots. I'll put that on the same pile because those are basically just all in the same boat at the moment. Well, a battery. I hit the side of the box.
Your accuracy is improving.
And boop.
Yeah.
Hello? Oh,
There you go.
did it turn on that time? It flashed.
Oh. And then nothing.
I'm trying to poke it with the screwdriver so we can see the flash.
Oh, I didn't even know the power button illuminated. I only saw the hard drive LED change.
Yeah,
Oh,
there
yeah.
you go. You see
Ugh.
that? Something's up with that one.
Is it shorted?
None of the ports on the back are caved in. Just try turning the thing over.
Ethereum moved to proof of stake in September 2022. Yeah. If that actually happened,
Citation needed.
then obviously having that
Yeah, 'cause
amount of Bitcoin.
yeah, like yeah, as I say, if it actually happened, then sure. But like they've been saying they were going to do that for years because the problem is that it doesn't actually benefit the majority of holders are people who control mining nodes and validator nodes, and they're making money on gas and mining. So it doesn't benefit them to be on proof of stake. So that had been vaporware for years. They kept saying they were going to do it, but they weren't doing it because the people who actually control Ethereum don't want to do it because they make money on gas fees and mining. However, if it did actually happen, then sure. I don't actually know because I don't follow it that closely, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If it did move to that and you had an equivalent of like 0.3% of a market cap or 1% of a market cap, that would be a reasonably large change.
Actually, before I start looking at this one, we'll just plug in this box. Yeah. There are two of these SFF PCs. One of them I already know works, so that one's not on the bench.
Moo coin, proof of stake.
Zing.
Perfect for proving the origin of your Wagyu steak. Your Wagyu steak.
This is the face of pain. Also, my leg hurts.
Don't worry, your suffering has only begun. I have thousands of these, thousands of them.
Okay.
Well, you've got USB port 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 9 on the front.
I see.
It was also just the fact of the 9 was roughly in the same place as a lot of the motherboard manufacturers, right? The speed. And I was like, why the fuck is this a 9 meg port? What did you do to this thing?
All right, that starts and boots as well. I'm not waiting for you to shut down. Cool, so that goes into the wipe and blah, blah, blah pile. All right.
Yeah, I'll have a gander at what's inside it.
Yeah.
Because if it's a hard drive, which it wouldn't be probably based off of that boot speed.
I think that's actually like a 9th gen i7, if my memory serves me, that one. Because the other one, I booted it up and I raised my eyebrows like, oh, that one's actually a lot newer than the rest of this gear. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Say it. Just say it.
What?
Read the chat.
Oh, I think that joke was a missed steak. Ooh, talking about steak. I want to go get steak.
Oh, I see. Yes. Fair.
Ooh, yes.
I would enjoy that at some point. All right. Okay. Right. So this one doesn't power on. Let's just pop the lid and just see if there's anything screamingly wrong.
Where the hell's the storage? And also, how do I flip you off?
Oh, okay. Ethereum Classic is still proof of work, and mainline Ethereum went to proof of stake. Fair enough. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Right. So you don't power on. Let's just verify that one more time.
Do I have to take the drive
Do we
out?
get a quarter fan spin? Yes, the fan twitched. I'm going to BIOS reset it.
I am a fan twitcher.
Keep this up and we're going to have some beef. Ugh.
Aha! There is a SATA SSD.
God.
Guess what?
Is it a Zoom?
No.
A Koom?
No?
Shoom?
No. It's even better than that. It's 2 power.
2 power?
Yep.
I didn't even know they made SSDs. I mean, they don't, but I didn't know they rebranded SSDs. Si, you buy from 2 power, don't you? Do you know anything about their SSDs? All right. Can we not have a load of glare on the screen so people can see it, maybe?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, 8 gig. Okay. DDR4
should work.
2666 CL19.
Yeah, it's a brand. Yeah, I know it was a Duracell brand. Just curious as to if they were actually any good or not. Like, they could be like rebranded SanDisks or something like that. But I'm not holding my breath.
This is a rebranded Samsung. Wait, what?
I mean, it could be. Samsung make a lot of OEM SSDs.
Oh, Lenovo RAM. This machine has 32 gigs of RAM in it.
Really? Wow. Overspec. I mean, it's not terribly uncommon for office PCs to have just overspec'd RAM.
Oh, does that or does that not read more like it's memmed in Hong Kong? Also, it's 2 power RAM.
Yeah, someone obviously just did a bunch of upgrades from 2 power.
Hynix. Oh, there is a single Lenovo module in here. Don't tell me Lenovo sold this with a single module in it.
Ugh.
Oh. You broke it.
It's just constantly twitching now. It's ticking as well. What's ticking? That's a sequence of words you don't want to hear, isn't it?
Just keep talking and nobody dies.
Yeah.
Oh my God, JC, a bomb!
Bomb! Get out of there. There's another absolutely classic line that I forgot to do in my recent playthrough of Deus Ex 1, where if I forget the guy's name, but the guy who owns the Ton Hotel, if he dies when the thugs come after him, there's a point where he gets confronted by a local street thug named Jojo, and if Jojo enters the hotel and has a confrontation with him, he says to Jojo, "Get out of my hotel," and if you don't intervene, Jojo will attack him and kill him. Now, I have always intervened and saved him. However, if you don't, he dies, and his daughter is just like, "Oh my God, my dad is dead," and JC goes, deadpan, "What a shame. He was a nice guy," kind of thing. He just goes, "What a shame." And he's like, what the fuck? You know, it's such a funny voice line. What a rotten way to go, yeah. Don't laugh, Jojo's a serious name.
Oh God, this is a 2-pin
Bizarre adventure.
fan? What?
Oh, yeah.
No, wait, no. There's a 4-pin blower up there.
Yeah, what's that going
the
to
hell
then?
are you? What are those?
All right, I'm just going to quickly...
Oh, it's the intrusion switch.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, right, how's that? Focus. What's the stream timer on? I'm dying.
I don't know. I don't have a working mouse.
Off. Have you tried turning the mouse off and on again?
I legitimately can't tell you because stuff is in the way. Hold on. I will get the mouse from being on charge.
Jesus wept. All right.
Imagine having hardware that functioned.
Okay, that's not shorted. That's not shorted. What about you? I'm just stabbing random secondary power supplies, just looking for possible issues here.
Chop, chop.
Oh,
The
hello.
steaks are getting cold.
You're shorted. Oh no, that's because that's a ground plane. That's fine. That's allowed to be shorted. That's fine.
Yay, the mouse works.
Stick my
2
head in
hours
front of it a
16.
sec. 2 hours 16. All right.
Heck, So what was the requirement with this? Do we just need to reinstall Windows on it?
Yeah, the desktop computer is just erased. So yeah, just pull the SSD for now, I think.
Oh, take it out.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Just take out the SSD because what I will do is was that next to oh yeah, I'm not keeping that one anyway. That can go with this Kingston one in the pile of SSDs that I would actually keep, and the other ones are a matter of we need to make sure those are actually erased. These ones will get reused, and then at some point I'll put an SSD in this. Whether it's the same one or just another one, it doesn't matter. It's all 256 SSDs are just a commodity basically. So yeah. Right, I've just popped out the RAM. I'm just going to check again.
Ow.
Nope, same.
Oh my God, why?
Guess I'll take the cooler off and check VCore.
Why would you make a toolless SSD sled that requires you to unscrew the caddy because there's no clearance?
So much hate.
It's a 1 terabyte.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, that's probably going to be a keeper then. Whoop. Why are these screws so long?
April 20th, the best day to buy Kingstoned SSD.
A Lamau. Okay.
You're stuck here forever.
CPU VCore. Two ohms going into the CPU itself. Main rail maybe?
Why would
Nothing
you
there.
image?
Nothing there. There's a current sensor resistor. Nothing there. 6.6 ohms on a secondary rail there. What about, there's some more inductors. 6.6 ohms. I'm just going to stab some more capacitors around the board, just seeing what I can find. I don't know the layout of this board in the slightest, so I'm just blindly stabbing capacitors at the moment. Sometimes you get lucky. No. Oh, that's ground.
Who designed this?
This is why I don't like Lenovo. They're not actually very good, in my opinion.
The cable tie means there's a clearance issue with the top of the RAM.
I'm not seeing any shorts. I'll try putting a different CPU in it, since we've got USB. Since we've got CPUs on hand. I was about to ask if you could pass me a CPU, but I'll just get it myself. I'll grab the one that probably has faulty memory channels. It does power on at least, so. Whoop. Nope, same.
Take out the RAM?
Already have. No RAM.
Ah, well then.
I'll unplug this thing entirely. What is actually ticking?
Weird.
Like, that's a loud tick. That's something like arcing or something. Beep speaker's unplugged. There's no, like, the fan is unplugged. The beep speaker is unplugged. The fan is unplugged. Unless it actually, I'm assuming it's using the beep speaker. Yeah, that media speaker must be its beep speaker. Are you guys hearing the ticking, just out of interest? Yeah. Unplug this as well, because that's a real loud tick. I'm going to take the motherboard out, see if there's a crater in the bottom. This is kind of morbid curiosity, to be honest. The tick will be from an inductor. That would make sense, yeah. Just before I go any further, I'll just try sticking my fingers on inductors, because I was touching MOSFETs then. Nope. Looks like we've got a donor for a display port.
Excellent. Dave Bob will get right on that.
Yeah, thermal camera. Possibly. I don't know if there's enough. Well, I mean, if something is arcing, then it will probably be generating some heat. So yeah, that might be worth a shot. Not seeing anything that looks exploded. Nuvoton, you think? Whoop.
It really does sound like a clock. Oh. It stopped.
Nope. Yeah, interrupted for a moment, but then it carried on.
It stayed on.
It's on now. Okay. Let's power it off. Whatever it is may have just heated up enough to work or just burnt out. I'm a genius. I can fix it by poking it.
Percussive maintenance.
Yeah. I'm going to get the thermal cam. I don't think the thermal camera is going to show me anything at all, but let's try. All right. Hotspot up here. That might be a capacitor. Everything else is cool. Yeah, there's a big flare up in the corner here. What is the actual temperature of that though? Yeah, oh yeah, it's like 30 degrees. That's room temp. But oh, there's something else coming up over here now though. Oh no, there's heat there. Something's going on. Just put that to one side a sec. Get off. I'm just going to poke all of these capacitors super quick. Nope. Might have to get the macro lens so I can actually see where that exactly that hotspot was.
Huh?
We'll get the macro lens. Oh. What is that? What am I looking at here? There's a single chap that's kicking up heat. And I need to stick my head in front of it. Right, 1, 2, 3. I'm just trying to orient myself on the board so I can figure out what the hell I'm looking at. Right, there's a big chip. There. Long and up. It's 2 of them, then stagger, then solder blob.
Hey,
okay,
to
it's
be that guy,
there.
why don't you just put your finger under a camera?
I guess. But the problem is these are tiny, tiny components. So yeah, it's that guy. That one, I've lost it again. It's like that one there.
Yeah, that is not visible.
Yeah.
Hold on. Ah! Which one?
So it is that there has got some heat in it. But like, what the hell is that? You know?
I mean, that looks like a solder pad.
Mm. Right, what's the bit that's pulsing? Two parallel. That's a 0 ohm. There's a 0 ohm link there that is pulsing with the tick.
The best repair method.
It worked. I think we need to find out what's actually ticking.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. I'm going to listen real close. I genuinely can't tell. Usually you can narrow it down to something, or if you press something it'll dull the sound or something like that. But yeah. Also, I'm just like, I don't know how much I care. It's just, my curiosity is piqued. What happens if I start it with no CPU in? Content, yeah.
It's on.
Oh yeah, it is indeed on. I'll unplug it and plug it again. Yeah, it just comes on with no CPU in. So, what does that mean though? Does that mean it's something to do with the CPU power? Or is it just doing something different because it's got no CPU and it's not getting that far? Is the CPU socket mashed in?
Bomber clap. Doesn't seem to be.
It is not? Nope. And does it behave the same way if I put the original CPU in?
Yes.
Yeah, same behavior, yeah. I don't know. Let's stab some of the power rails and just see if we can see. Is anything actually coming on? I'm not really sure where to start on this.
Is the main power rail actually shorted?
I have not been able to find anything shorted, no. So
okay.
Let's stab, I think that's main power rail. Yeah, there's 20 volts. That's going to be our main power rail.
Okay.
CPU V-core is pulsing. You can see the little bar graph at the bottom left of the thing. It's not quite coming out, but every now, when it catches it, you see a little flash on the bar graph at the bottom of the meter. That bar graph updates slightly faster than the numbers do, so it allows you to catch quick things. So, have we got any rails? All right, well, there we go. The bar graph is really clear on that one. Yeah, both the secondary rails are doing that, because these two rails down here are probably the 5 and 3v3 rails. So those are both cycling, but that doesn't tell us why they're cycling. It doesn't mean that one of them is at fault. This definitely, it has to be a short, but it's just where. Rehot area and see if it changes. But what would that prove? If it starts working, how long will it work for? You know, it doesn't tell us anything at all. You know, if it doesn't work, then we learn nothing. If it does work, then it comes back to life for a day, a week, a month. Who knows?
Or even your year.
Yeah. This is why rehotting something doesn't do anything, because it might last a day, it might last a year. Who knows? Yeah. This is why rehotting is not that's a joke thing to do. It doesn't actually fix anything. So yeah. So these ones were not shorted. Let's go back to resistance. Let's just check these again. I did check them, but 10k-ish. 10k-ish. So yeah, those rails aren't shorted. Yeah, like having buzzed around just some random capacitors, I'm not seeing anything. Like that's got to be a fairly major short somewhere, but I don't know where. Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to say donor board on this, because I'm not sure if I super care.
Yeah, because ultimately it's not that modern and high end and so on.
Yeah, that's it. Like, again, we can use it as a donor board. So it can't be that hard to find, though. It's such an obvious fault. Hot MOSFET shorts, stops ticking, and then what? I mean, I suppose maybe it goes dead short and then we actually find it with the thermal camera, but the problem is we don't know what's ticking. So what are we going to heat up? Yeah, what are we going to do? Are we going to rehot every MOSFET? Yeah, like I held it up to my ear, but I can't tell which area the ticking is coming from. Maybe inject power to a rail to override the safety off. Which one? Bridge it? Bridge what? You know? So yeah. What are we going to bridge? We haven't found a short. This is the thing, just like when people say inject, it's like inject where? We haven't found a short circuit. There's no short circuit to inject onto. Bad solder joint. Where? Where? It could be any of them. It could be any solder joint on that motherboard. Yeah, that's the problem. We need something to start from. We've found a resistor that is warm, but that could just be a bootstrap resistor. Bad solder joint on the MOSFETs. Yeah, main power rail is up. It's one of the secondary rails, yeah. Yeah, it's got to be one of the secondary rails. I guess we could take the inductor off the secondary rails one by one and see if that changes the behavior, because that might narrow down which rail it's on.
Oh, okay, interesting.
What are you seeing?
Only the fact that there are pads for you to put an ATX 20 volt on there.
Yeah.
Okay.
This could probably find a home in one of those horrid, wretched tin box mini PCs. Right. These are the secondary rails. They go out. There's MOSFETs on both sides of it, so I'm not 100% certain which side is in and out. I think this is the input side. So actually, let's just quickly check that. Let's keep following. All right, buzz out the USB ports. Not a bad idea. Hold that thought. So there's our pulsing 5-volt rail. Right, we've got a solid 20 volts over here. So this is the 20-volt input side into these rails. One more time. .7 and a lot. Then we go into these MOSFETs, maybe another output stage. Let's check those capacitors after that. 3K-ish. Now, so let me find a better ground. Just there. There's a good ground. Maybe there. $780 ohms. They're not massively high, the outputs from these, but I think the secondary rails can go a little bit low anyway.
I presume you can't, not necessarily whether it being useful here or not, but you can't check the resistance of the rail whilst there's power through it?
No. No, you can't check resistance while it's powered, unfortunately. That 5-volt rail is at like 400 ohms.
Is it? Isn't that 0.3 mega ohms?
Oh, yeah, sorry, you're right, that's mega ohms. Yeah, so, sorry, yeah, that's like 350 kilo ohms then. Yeah, no, that's fine, that's nothing.
So what rails are there? Because there has to be something other than 20 volt for the CPU.
Yeah, so we've got the main power rail. The CPU V core was at about 2 ohms. Let's just pop the CPU out and make sure that goes high resistance.
Yes, because without a CPU it should be...
Yeah, it should be functionally disconnected. So that we should get a sky high reading now. 127. Oh, also, I think the batteries are low in my meter. Oh, that's inconvenient. Darn, my meter batteries are low, so I might be getting nonsense reading here. Yeah, that's...
How so? Why would the voltage...
If
would
if the batteries are low, then the meter readings will be off because its references will be bad. Oh, that's going to have double A's in it.
Seems like a really bad design.
Well, yeah. If you're...
That seems like a really bad design, that the meter wouldn't tell you that the batteries are low before it goes wonky.
Well, it is the low battery light.
Oh, right. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought the only way you knew was because you thought the readings might be wonky.
The low battery signal is coming up on the meter. So I don't.
Okay.
So yeah.
I was just like, that seems chronically stupid. That the only way to tell is because your meter is no longer a meter. Yeah. Can you use the other meter? Can you use the little one?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, let's quickly test that one just for a comparison. The little one is a bit how you're doing as well, which is why I stopped using it. The batteries in it are good though, at least, I think, so. Well, that's why I stopped using it.
No, just the fact of like the keyboard and mouse.
Oh yeah, everything's pretty broken here at the moment, I'll give you that, yeah. Not deliberately. It's just everything seems to be breaking this afternoon.
Everything has happened at precisely the same time.
Yeah, exactly. This is the point where someone in the comments is going to be like, "Oh, get some good equipment." It's like that's a nice meter. I have nice equipment. Just unfortunately, now and then the batteries need to be replaced.
Unfortunately, everything is now.
And at this exact moment in time, I can't find my box of AA batteries that I thought was in the thing over there. So yeah, sometimes all things seem to happen at the same time. And despite my best efforts,
It's okay. You can add a LiPo to it and Type-C charging.
no.
You must be able to charge it at 240 watts. Oh,
Right, 10k. Yeah. All right, that's fine.
okay.
Right, 10k. So
What about the other rails?
No,
No, sorry, to the CPU.
Oh, to the CPU. Yeah. Okay. Let's check the other ones. This meter is slower than the other ones, but
It still appears to be
God, that's
hundreds.
wandering around. But yeah, still, we're in the kiloohms range, so yeah, a lot. Right, that's common. Let's check you.
Just because the only thing we
A
have
lot.
got is that taking the CPU out changes the behaviour. That's it.
Yeah. A lot. I'll just check over here again for good measure. That was the main power rail. We know that's not shorted, otherwise there wouldn't be 20 volts there. Yeah, no. Somewhere has a catastrophic short. Like, somewhere is going to read 0. But I don't know where.
So,
I'm just looking for large caps at the moment, but this could be something really nefarious somewhere. What about these caps near the audio? No. Just going to stab all of the USB port capacitors.
yeah, could it be a dead PCH?
Yeah, maybe.
Like that one board? But also, wouldn't that require...
PCH is reading 45, 46 ohms, but I don't know what's normal for the
But
PCH.
that's also not 0.
Yeah.
And wouldn't...
I'm not sure what the normal for a PCH is, and also there's no other telltale signs of issues with the PCH. I can check. I'll check if any USB data lines are shorted, because that would indicate, like, if we saw shorted USB lines, that would be a giveaway. Let me just see if I can stab these. So let's just go this stab,
Oh boy.
this stab. Very high, and to ground. Infinite, are you sure?
Oh, it flashed.
Yeah, I touched ground then. Well, it ain't short, that's for sure. Ground check. Yeah. It's a rough connection because this meter is shagged, but again, we're looking for 0 here.
Yeah.
So yeah. So no, USB lines aren't shorted, which doesn't mean the PCH works, but if we found that the USB data lines were shorted together or to ground, that would almost certainly mean a dead PCH.
Right, okay.
So yeah.
Yes, because all of these are PCH.
Yeah, USB is always on the PCH, yeah.
Until Arrow Lake. Arrow Lake has 2 direct-to-CPU USBs.
Oh, interesting. Fair enough.
Also,
Caps near the PCH forums. These guys were reading like 45.
yeah, also that doesn't hold true for AMD.
Did we try a different power adapter? No, but the power adapters worked for every other one.
And it wouldn't matter if this needed, say, a 130 watt power adapter.
It should be the same as the rest, yeah.
No, yeah, but
Yeah.
even if it needed a 130 watt one, it wouldn't behave like this
Yeah.
because there's no CPU in there, so it can't get far enough to check
Yeah.
the power wattage. It would still only need
It doesn't.
a couple of watts.
Yeah, it doesn't tick with no CPU in it. No, it actually
Yeah.
turns on with no CPU in it. But obviously, because there's no CPU, it's not going to do anything else. I'm not convinced. The fact that it turns on with no CPU. Actually, do we have rails when it does that? So the power light is now on. Do we have voltage rails now? That might be interesting, because if all the voltage rails are up, that confirms that the rails are good.
Oh yeah, yeah, it does.
So
doesn't
like,
it?
obviously we've got no vCore at the moment because there's no CPU.
Why would
However-
there be no vCore without a CPU?
Because there's no CPU to negotiate a vCore. Right, there's our 5-volt rail. There's our 3.3-volt rail. So with no CPU, the rails are coming up. So what about the PCH? Is that getting power? Yeah, there's 1 volt into the PCH. Okay. So that suggests that the rails are all good because the rails are powered up. You should still get a default vCore. Yeah?
That would be my thought, because how else is the CPU going to power on?
I assumed one of the secondary rails would, because there's like 7 rails going into a CPU. Just the only one anyone cares about is like system agent and vCore, but there's like half a dozen different voltages.
But it's just a case of
to it.
how are you going to do anything involving the CPU cores without vCore?
Well, I don't know, but my assumption is that one of those secondary rails goes to system agent, which says, right, like standby power to CPU. We need vCore. Please send me 1.4 volts so I can switch on.
Oh,
sort of
I see.
That,
Okay.
that's what I thought happened, but yeah. Caps in center of CPU, okay. I mean, vCore was at 2 ohms. So if we measure one of these guys, we should see. Oh, we've got no CPU in there at the moment, but also, yeah, just vCore is high resistance at the moment. So yeah, if there was any issue with any of those caps, we'd be seeing a vCore short.
Yes. Okay. Pianov confirms that is the sequence for
Oh, cool.
VCCSA vehicle.
There we go. I know some things. I'm not a complete idiot. I'm not. I wasn't saying that you were calling me that.
I
but
wasn't meaning to infer that you were.
This is me self-validating here.
Simply, I wasn't certain how it was otherwise supposed to work.
Yes. So the short happens when vCore comes up? Yeah, I mean, it's possible that it is a fault with vCore because with no CPU in there, it's not trying to bring up vCore. However, when there's a CPU in there, it attempts to start vCore.
So could it be an issue with the controller?
Yeah, maybe the but the PWM chip, so quote unquote. Where does this thing? Where's the drivers for those powers? So this thing has power stages on it. So those have their own drivers, but there'll be a PWM chip somewhere sequencing those stages. And that's probably this guy on the back, which is awfully close to where that hot resistor was. So actually, if we go back to what we did know, because that's an on-semi PWM controller. This guy is sequencing these power stages for vCore, and near this chip is where we found that hot resistor with the thermal camera. Re-hot. What? I'm going to blast it with heat. Again, I don't know what you think is going to happen when we do that. Like, if it turns on, we learn nothing, and we won't know when it will fail again. I'm going... Okay, hang on a sec. I'm just going to move over to the... I'm going to move over to the microscope.
You're going to go to the microscope.
Yeah.
And stare intently.
And... Gonna get capture. Where is the USB? I didn't think I'd stolen it, but...
I don't know.
Ooh. 100 watt. Oh, balls. I think these are USB 2. Sheet. Okay. Using the USB 2 cable for now. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to use the cam link. Right.
Very well.
Stand by, folks. There is a plan.
Is there?
Oh, this is why we were using this, because the cam link can be plugged into it. Please don't crash.
Please like this video to tell us we're still live.
Oh my god. Did I just snap that off? No. I will not elaborate.
That would be the perfect conclusion.
I haven't enjoyed this conversation in English. Right, what is that? 2 goes to there. Right, the fibre optic cable needs to go into the output down here,
Needs to go
which
into
it already is. Okay.
Fabulous. I'm now going to go to studio mode, and then I'm going to go to capture, and I'm going to change the capture to the capture that isn't there.
Have you got no output there?
No, just the device is not there.
Oh.
There we go. Now
okay.
it is.
Yeah. Might need a deactivate, activate.
There you go.
Profile, scene, 1080p tile. Actually, we don't even need that.
Oh, there we go.
Right.
Oh no.
Live gamer, projector.
There you go.
Ah.
There you go. Right, how do I transition? That one. Boop.
All right. God, I'm tired. Right. It'll come back in a sec. All right, there we go. Right. Cool. Right. Right. There's our PWM chip.
On semi.
Yes. And I believe it was this guy or this guy was the one that was glowing when power was applied.
What are they?
I was hoping we might be able to trace one of... yeah, we need to know which it is, because then we could trace back to the pin. Then we can look up the data sheet for this and see what pin that is.
What are the black things?
These are... the black things are resistors.
Can you just remove it?
Well, the resistor doesn't... the resistor isn't going to be a path to ground. Or it's very... it's very unlikely to be a path to ground. So a bad resistor isn't causing a short circuit per se. Like a bad capacitor is probably going to short its rail to ground. Resistors usually don't connect to ground. So a resistor being hot doesn't necessarily mean a short per se, but it might be connected to the short. It might be connected to a shorted rail, so we need to know where it's going.
So if that resistor was there to say, set the number of phases that the thing was controlling.
Yeah. Kind of speculating wild.
No. But if it was there to do that, for example, it doesn't need to go to ground to do that.
No. So a resistor, it could be a pull-up resistor where it connects a voltage rail to a signal, so that signal is normally high.
Yeah. Okay.
But if the rail that it's connected to is shorted to ground, don't know. Right, hang on a sec. I'm just going to apply power to it just so we can just validate which resistor it is, and then I'm going to try and trace back into the PWM chip so we can determine what that resistor is actually doing. So,
yeah. With the CPU.
Oh yeah, right. I need to put a CPU in it so it actually starts ticking again. Hold on, folks.
So help me if we put the CPU in and it no longer ticks.
I will actually end the stream, and I'm not even joking. I will just be like, all right, we're done. Thanks for coming, folks. Thank you and good night.
Alcohol. Yes, alcohol will be required after this stream.
Yeah. All right. Actually, right, if I do a thing.
That is the desktop?
Yep, stand by. Profile, 1080p stream.
Oh no.
I'm just trying to get it so I can switch which cam. Oh no, I don't have any of the bench cams here. Idiot. I was going to try and get it so we could have an overhead camera as well. But obviously it's not here. Right, hold on, I'm bringing it all back.
Where is the other one?
The face cam is behind the screens, but that doesn't help us right now. So
No, that's fine. It was just the fact I couldn't see the face cam either, and I was just like, what did you do?
Yeah. 4K tile, live gamer, full screen projector. Let me just bring that back just so you guys have something.
Pow.
There we go. All right.
This is a CPU socket.
This is a very slow diagnostic session. However, you guys were just like, this is content. So I'm like, okay. All right. So. Okay, it's ticking. Tickety tick tick. I just need to bias this cable so it's not dragging the board off the table. Right, now I'm going to look at this with the thermal camera and check which resistor it is. And then, can someone start looking up, Caradog, can you quickly look up the data sheet for this chip?
For the NCP 81203.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell me when you've written that down so I can let go of the board.
Yeah.
Cool. Because we need a pin out for it. If such a thing is possible, at least, anyway. It's the lower one. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
NCP is also the code for the NCP car parks.
Ah.
There you go. Oh, on semiconductor.
How high do I need to lift that to be able to see everything? There we go, to about
Oh,
there.
let me guess. I'm not going to be able to read this. Oh no, I can.
It might be super secret.
I can read page 1. Page 2. Oh, page 2. There we go.
Just autofocus. All right. So this is the guy that's getting hot.
Is that what you wanted?
Yeah. However, the problem is, good luck figuring out what that connects to. Let me just let's get in real close a minute. All right. Whoops.
Is that what you wanted?
That looks good, yeah. Right, so that connects down to there, which goes up to here, which goes around to there. So where's pin 1? Up there. Is it pin 1 top left anti-clockwise? Are the pins numbered on that diagram?
I have text labels.
Okay. Can someone... yeah, because if pin 1 is in the top left, you go anti-clockwise, right? I can never remember.
The top left has a cutout of the chip in the picture.
because that indicates pin 1, but it's just which direction you count from. Yeah, so I believe that you then count anti-clockwise, but I can never remember.
Pin 6 is T-Sense.
How do you know?
Because pin 6 is T-Sense for the on-semiconductor VRM controllers for various AMD GPUs.
I see. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so it's pin 1 clockwise then.
I know this because of volt modding the GPUs.
Okay. So in that case, oh, how many pins have you got per side there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh no, I've got way more. We're looking at different packages here.
Ah, this is in.
Right, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. It's 13 times 4. 13 times 4. It's 52. It's a 52 pin QFN, if that makes sense. Okay, right. Am I sure that those connect together? I'm going to buzz that out to make sure I'm looking in the right place. So if I buzz from beat mode, yeah, there we go. Yeah, yeah, and okay, it's 2 pins that are bridged together, so that tells us something. The pin we're looking for, it covers 2 pins. So
This is really unhelpful.
yeah, so we want to find out what those pins do. Got a white dot in the top left, so I think it's pin 1 anti-clockwise as well, but I'm not sure. We can find out from when we find a data sheet that seems useful. But yeah, finding data sheets for these things can be tricky. Yeah, you see a dot as if it goes into the layer. Yeah. Arrow paint on PCB pin 1. I agree, Lead Farmer. Is anyone else looking for a data sheet? Because yeah, I'm not. We're struggling to find a useful data sheet for this.
I can't find the one that actually matches what we've got because this data sheet is called the NCP 81203, which is what we want. But when you actually look at it, it's the data sheet for the NCP 81111.
Ah, okay, yeah.
But is labelled as 81203.
I hate all data sheet with a passion. Loads of places direct you to this website and it's just a complete crapshoot. NCP 8120 data sheet. Yeah, just try taking the 3 off the end of the 81. Yeah, just try taking the 3 off the end. That might narrow it down a bit more. Yeah, like see what you get. I know that's another. Oh, yeah, we've got a date. Yeah, pin. Yeah, the second result looks like it might be.
Because it's just this document again.
Yeah, that's a sales document. Well, actually. Okay, has that got actual pin? Yeah, it's Yeah, this is marketing rather, you know. I don't think that actually has a pin out on it.
No.
No, fine. What was the all data sheet option at the top then?
No. Oh, would you like to buy this from Joe in Michigan?
Yeah, okay. What's that top option then? Does that give us...
It's the same
result?
page.
Yeah.
It's these which are the same documents, which aren't the right documents,
Yeah.
arguably.
I don't think we're actually going to make any progress without finding a data sheet, because like this is the only clue we have, is that there's a hot resistor going to that pin, but we don't know what that pin is. The other option is if we can find a schematic for this board. So I'll just check what the board number is.
Oh,
that looks
more,
promising.
This is more pins. It's the wrong chip, but it's got at least more pins on it.
Okay. Can you zoom in on that pin out diagram?
Zoom.
Yeah. Right, left-hand side. Are any of them common together? Not quite. Okay, let me just count which pin. Yeah, that's pin 1 anti-clockwise. I think that's the right. That might well be the correct pin out.
VSN.
Right, hold on.
Oh no.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and hang on a sec. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are the pins we're interested in.
PS, YS, and VRMP.
PS, YS, and VRMP. Yeah. Okay. What are those two then? And
I am too zoomed.
Yeah.
7 and 8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, did you say 7 and 8?
8
No,
and
8
9.
and 9.
Yeah.
PSYS, system power signal input, a resistor to ground, scales the signal.
Okay.
VRMP, feed forward input of V in for the ramp slope compensation. The current feed into this pin is used to control the ramp of PWM slopes.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that those would be. Common together.
Yeah.
Piano says pin out in Clevo this model number service manual schematics. Okay. Let's quickly. Let's pull that up then. So just do a quick Google search for that. Yeah. P775DM2 schematic. Yeah, do schematic rather than service manual. I think that'll get a better hit. Mm, 775DM2 service manual. Okay, yeah, sure. Is that? No, this is a service manual, not schematics. Yeah, we need the actual schematic, unless it's in there. Oh yeah, no, that's a schematic as well. Yeah, cool. All right, let's get. Yeah, if you can bring that up as a PDF view, then we need to search for the PWM chip.
What was it again?
It was
NCP.
If you search for NCP 812.
Page 108.
Okay, yeah. Can we get something that's a bit more readable than this? Like, can we download? Yeah, download link top left. I'm not a robot. Yeah, then we can actually look at it in a useful PDF viewer. This manual is also suitable for. Yeah, okay. Download PDF? No. Yeah, there we go.
It was.
All right, there we go. So yeah.
108.
Well remembered. Okay, right. Now we can just zoom in on this. So now we can zoom in on this and see what pin 8 and 9 I said.
We can see what Comic Sans can tell us here.
Yeah. Also, do you want to change this to desktop view for this bit?
That one.
Yeah. Cool. Right. So 8 and 9. So 9 is up the top.
Yeah.
So 9 is up the top, and that is connecting to V in. And then pin 8. Where's pin 8? Scrolling down, scrolling down.
Here.
Down. Pin 8 has a resistor going down to ground. So that kind of tallies with what the pin description said, but also that doesn't make sense as to what we're seeing, because on our board 8 and 9 are tied together, which makes no sense. Actually, go back up to the top to pin 9. Pin 9 connects to ground through between a resistor. So they could be together because they both are close to ground. Board view would be better. Yeah, if we can find one. Boy. Resistors there online. Yeah. Oh, I'm very tired and my leg hurts a lot right now. I don't know if I've got it in me to solve this. Okay, hold on. We might be able to figure this out. If I go back here and measure these resistors. Come on. That's a 1K resistor, and what's it connecting to?
I have to say, this manual is significantly more detailed than I was expecting.
Yeah, that one's actually like a full service manual, which is very uncommon.
Would you like to know the layout of your click board?
That's a lot. That's ground. Okay, right. We've got a capacitor to ground and a 1K resistor to somewhere else. Could you go back to the thing again? And zoom in on the top part of pin 8. Oh, pin 9, yeah, that'll do it. Yeah, 1K resistor and a capacitor to ground. So we've identified pin 9. Pin 8, for some reason or other, is tied to the same place and has a 20K to ground. Maybe that's just... I don't understand why those two pins are tied together. However, it's that 1K resistor that was getting hot. So where does the 1K resistor connect to? That went to VN.
This one?
Yeah.
It goes to VRMP.
Oh, VRMP, yeah. But it's being powered from VN. And there's enough current going through that 1K resistor to warm it up. So that might infer that the chip is pulling too much power or is internally damaged.
Feed forward input for V in for the ramp slope compensation.
Yeah. So right. So if you go back to the microscope view a sec.
Yep.
So this is the resistor that was lighting up under the thermal camera. That is going to be VN, which is probably 20 volts. And this is a pull-up resistor, and it goes up here and connects to pin 9. However, pin 8 is also connected to it. So maybe it's doing that just to set, maybe just by coincidence it sets on the same thing. However, the thing is that this resistor is getting warm, which means something is pulling current through it. Let's just double check that that's not shorted to ground, actually. I need to reverse my probes. Let's just make sure. Yeah, no, that's not shorted to ground. So, however, that's pulling current through into the chip. It might not be getting very... It's heating up enough to illuminate, which seems odd, because there shouldn't be meaningful amounts of current going through this. because it's not the power input for the chip. Inject power on the resistor's output. It's not shorted. Nothing will happen. Good luck with this puzzle, but it's 4 a.m. Yeah, big mood. Yeah, this is a rabbit hole, and I'm kind of out of energy. If we'd identified this pin and been like, okay, this is the pin that does X, then that might give us something to go on. Like that might, you know, but the pin out that we're seeing, it doesn't really make sense, and I don't understand how this is being connected. And even if we did know, I wouldn't know why. So compare ohms on the other later. That would be a way forward. However, I don't think I'm going to bother trying to save this. I think that's a donor board.
Yeah,
so,
I was going to say, if it was like a 10th gen board, then maybe.
However, if we want some kind of resolution to this, I think it's safe to say there's a problem with the PWM chip.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. There's a problem with the PWM chip. You're looking at the data sheet and pinout. And, pin 8 is ROSC, yes. And what? You don't think they're connected together? Traces should go directly to the pin. Don't know what that via looking thing on top is. Maybe you should not be there. Yeah. Nothing tells us that this is actually related to the problem. Yeah, I agree with that. The only reason why I'm chasing this thread is that is just something on the board that is warming. But also, like, just because the thermal camera is showing orange, it might be like 30 degrees compared to a cold board, which doesn't mean anything anyway. So, yeah. There's no meaningful amount of information here. So, yeah, I think I'm out on this.
Yeah.
That PDF is the data sheet for the thing which has the same packaging pin out. Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't give us new information though. We have a pin out. So yeah, this doesn't give us any new information. Yeah, I've enjoyed this investigation in board. Yeah, I don't think I have. It's a weird problem, but I'm just like, I don't know and I don't think I care, to be honest. So yeah, I think that's a bittersweet end. I think that's a bittersweet note to end on, but I don't think I care. I think this is a donor board. There's more likely that we're going to steal the, if we want content, we steal the DisplayPort connector off of it to fix that other board.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've enjoyed this data sheet in Comic Sans.
I have not. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back next week with something else, I guess.
Indeed.
Yeah. And in the meantime, I've got to carry on looking through the rest of these. Well, that was something, I guess. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Dissatisfying ending, but that's what it is. That's how it be sometimes. Yeah. All right. Pain can drown out curiosity. It surely is in this time. You'd be curious what the problem is, but these kinds of issues are always a complete nightmare to track down. Yeah. That's why I'm kind of umming and ahhing. I'm just like, it's interesting, but also, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll be back next week with something else.
You can see him on Twitch.
Oh yeah, I'll be on Twitch tomorrow, 7 p.m. UK time, with more 9 Souls, which is really interesting. I'm having a really good time with 9 Souls. So yeah. All right. See you all soon. Bye.
Bye.